Chapter 234. Tang Wan seemed to be done with her meal. She picked up a rough piece of tissue from the table and wiped the oil stains on the side of her mouth. Under the light, her red lips looked like rose petals. Seeing that Yang Cheng was waiting for her to ask questions, Tang Wan said, "First, do you have a wife?" The first question made Yang Cheng suck in a breath of cold air. He nodded and said, "Yes." Tang Wan didn't seem to be surprised. "I have a daughter, so we cancel it out." Second, "You have a lover, and not just one." Yang Cheng clenched his teeth. "Yes." "Ah, I don't have a man, so I'm at a disadvantage here. I told you that you're a bad person." Third, "You came to see me with the intention of sleeping with me," Tang Wan said straightforwardly. Yang Cheng felt that this woman was trying to make him worse than a beast. He smiled bitterly and said, "Yes." Tang Wan giggled. She laughed so hard that tears were about to come out. She didn't look like the dignified and charming upper-class socialite she usually was. She looked like a young girl who was amused by a man. "What are you laughing at? You're the one who asked. I'm just telling you the truth. I've never said that I'm noble." Yang Cheng curled his lips unhappily. "Yang Cheng, I've noticed something good about you. Why are you so honest? Even if you lied to me and told me some lies, I won't be angry." Tang Wan held back her laughter. "I'm just playing around. You don't have to be so serious." Yang Cheng frowned. "I used to joke around with women, but now I don't intend to play games in relationships." "Is this the speech of a married pervert?" Tang Wan asked jokingly. "I admit that you're a woman who's extremely attracted to me, but your words just now made me feel like I was mistaken. If you're really just playing around, I think I should leave now." Yang Cheng was a little depressed. Tang Wan's casual attitude made him feel like he was being looked down upon. Suddenly, Tang Wan reached out and grabbed Yang Cheng's hand. The delicate and warm touch made Yang Cheng stunned. He turned his body back and looked at Tang Wan in confusion. "Come with me to a place," Tang Wan said. Yang Cheng suddenly felt that Tang Wan's hand, which was holding him, was trembling. It was a kind of repressed emotion. Yang Cheng really wanted to ask her if she wanted to get a room with him. But after thinking about it, he decided not to. If that was really the case, he would be embarrassed. He just said that he was going to leave, but once he heard that he wanted to get a room, he would be embarrassed. After the two said goodbye to Uncle Chiao, they left the old street. Because Tang Wan also drove her black Land Rover, Yang Cheng followed behind Tang Wan. After driving for about half an hour, they stopped near a beach in Zhonghai. After getting out of the car, Yang Cheng looked not far away. Under the night sky, the coastline, the stretch of beach, and the cold sea breeze blew past his ears, echoing the entanglement of the waves and reefs. A crescent moon hung in the western sky, falling into the sea along with the stars. The moon in the sea had tears of pearls, and the sun in Lantian was warm. This kind of scenery, Yang Cheng had been back in Zhonghai for almost a year, but he had never seen it before. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Tang Wan asked as she gazed at the boundless night view. Yang Cheng nodded silently. He was a little reluctant to open his mouth and ruin this piece. Following Tang Wan, they walked along a small winding slope to the beach, slowly approaching the tide. There were very few tourists on the beach because it was nighttime. There were occasionally a few small seafood barbecue stalls with lights on. Other than the salty smell of the sea, there was also the smell of barbecue. Tang Wan took off her red-high heels and held them in her hands. A pair of beautiful feet that looked like they were carved out of white marble stepped on the soft and wet beach. She stretched out her arms and raised her head, enjoying the fresh air. Yang Cheng silently followed her for a long distance, leaving their shallow footprints on the beach. "Yang Cheng." Tang Wan suddenly stopped under the moonlight. A tranquil smile appeared on her bright and beautiful face. "Thank you. I haven't really relaxed in a long time." "I didn't do anything," Yang Cheng said. "Do you know why I asked you those questions just now?" Tang Wan asked. Yang Cheng shook his head. "Don't tell me you don't understand me. Actually, what kind of person you are is no longer important to me. Men will like a woman's beauty, gentleness, and temperament. But a woman often doesn't have a reason to like a man. Once he made up his mind, he made up his mind. He wouldn't change his original intention just because others didn't like that man. Rather than testing you, it would be better to say that I was testing myself. Tang Wan looked in the direction of the sea breeze messing up her hair. Yang Chung stood quietly at the side. At this moment, Tang Wan's clothes were blown up by the sea breeze. The perfect curves of her chest made Yang Chung feel a little envious. Even what Tang Wan was saying wasn't important anymore. You bad guy, you already have a wife, yet you're still fooling around outside. This isn't the first time I've seen you with different women at least 3 times. I was thinking, you're clearly such a playboy, so why would I have a good impression of you? Is it because I'm not sure that you're that kind of person? So, I'll ask you and let you say it yourself. I think, if you tell me the truth with your own mouth, and I can't help but think about you even in my dreams, then I really might have met the person I haven't met for more than 30 years. Yang Chung came back to his senses and asked, "What's the result? Didn't I bring you here?" Tang Wan turned around and smiled sweetly. "I caught you and brought you to my favorite beach. This is the place where my mother often brought me when I was young. I promised my mother that if I found someone I liked one day, I would definitely bring that man here to see her." Tang Wan took a deep breath. "That was when I was 17 years old. I personally sprinkled my mother's ashes into this sea." Yang Chung was stunned. He did not expect that Tang Wan's mother was already gone. "Hug me." Tang Wan suddenly looked at Yang Chung with her clear eyes. "You like me, don't you?" Yang Cheng's body stiffened. Tang Wan's change in attitude was too fast, causing Yang Chung to be mentally unprepared. It was as if a fairy from the heavens had suddenly descended to the earth and said to a farmer, "Hug me." Even if the farmer was as brave as a tiger, he would still have to stay for a moment. Just as Yang Chung was about to step forward and hug Tang Wan, who was still standing, suddenly threw herself at Yang Chung. Yang Chung was embraced by Tang Wan's fragrant and soft body. Tang Wan's arms hooked around Yang Cheng's neck. Yang Cheng's hands hesitated for a moment before finally wrapping around Tang Wan's slender girlish waist. He could feel Tang Wan's full and soft breasts on his chest. His mouth and nose were filled with a woman's unique soft body fragrance mixed with the sea breeze. Tang Wan's body was very soft, so soft that Yang Chung felt a sense of fullness, as if the whole female body could melt into his body. Thinking that he might be able to hug such a woman to sleep tonight, Yang Chung felt a burst of blood rushing to his head. "Yang Chung," Tang Wan almost whispered as she raised her head. Her charming face was flushed, and her eyes flickered as she looked at Yang Chung. Yang Chung still felt like he was in a dream. Their first date actually progressed to such a stage. He was so stunned that he couldn't speak. "Yang Chung, have you ever drunk seawater?" Tang Wan asked softly. Without waiting for Yang Chung to answer, Tang Wan continued, "The feeling of falling in love with someone is the same as drinking seawater. The first sip of seawater is very refreshing, but after drinking it, you will immediately feel thirsty. The more seawater you drink, the more thirsty you get. I'm afraid of myself. I get thirsty more easily than the average person. What do you want to know?" Yang Chung asked with a smile. Although this woman was a little strong and wise, she was very cute at this time. Her ignorant look was like a little girl who was afraid of losing candy. "I want to know if you are afraid that I'm more thirsty than any other woman." Tang Wan pursed her red lips, and her eyes flashed with extraordinary splendor. "You know, I don't have much time." Yang Chung gently hooked Tang Wan's white chin with his fingers and slowly lifted it up, making that pair of captivating red lips like a breath. Yang Chung smiled wickedly. "Whether it is the soul or the body, I want far more than you." After that, Yang Chung kissed her heavily. The wet and cold, soft and fragrant breath made Yang Cheng's cerebral cortex go numb. Tang Wan's hands stiffened for a moment, and then she grabbed the back of Yang Cheng's neck and took the initiative to move forward, as if she wanted to put her lips into Yang Cheng's mouth, and responded clumsily. The waves crashed, and under the deep blue sky, no one could hear the heartbeat that struggled to break free. Chapter 235. Yang Chung hugged Tang Wan's plump and soft buttocks. Tang Wan was greatly stimulated, and her body twisted uncontrollably. The more she twisted, the tighter and clearer the contact between her body in Yang Cheng's. Yang Cheng felt as if he was being run over by a soft cotton ball, and he exhaled comfortably. Tang Wan felt that her lower part was already a little wet. She had been alone for many years, and she naturally felt lonely occasionally. She knew very well what it was. She was aroused, and the spring tide began to flood uncontrollably. At this moment, there was no one around at night. Even a drunkard would not be bored enough to come to this place to make a scene, but Tang Wan was still afraid. She was afraid that the absurd and bold Yang Cheng would want to have sex with her on the spot. Although she had already confessed her feelings and knew that she didn't have much youth left, Tang Wan was not bold enough to use the sky as her blanket and the earth as her bed, and do it unscrupulously. Yang Cheng. Tang Wan begged him to let her passively kiss him and begged, "Don't do this here, I don't want to do this. Then what do you want?" Yang Cheng jokingly smiled. Tang Wan pointed to a brightly lit seaside building not far away. "Let's go there, my Maple Forest Hotel. I specially bought it so that I can come here to see the sea when I miss my mother." Yang Cheng looked at the building in the distance with some astonishment and thought with some jealousy, why are all the women around him richer than him? Tang Wan seemed to see through Yang Cheng's thoughts. "Are you a person who cares about money?" Yang Cheng laughed. "Yes, I don't know how to spend money, even if I have money." Just as Yang Cheng held Tang Wan's hand and planned to walk to the seaside hotel with some excitement, Tang Wan's cell phone rang. Tang Wan frowned and took out her cell phone to look at it. Her face showed a slightly surprised and helpless look. "What's wrong?" Yang Cheng asked. Tang Wan withdrew her hand from Yang Cheng's. "I'm sorry. It seems that tonight's date has to end here." "It can't be." Yang Cheng's heart trembled. "What was this? Now that I've been aroused, this woman is going to leave in style?" Tang Wan forced a smile and said, "It's a message from my daughter. She came home and said that if I don't go back to accompany her tonight, she will run away from home again." "Run away from home?" Yang Cheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Is there a need to be so extreme?" Tang Wan shook her head. "You don't understand. My daughter is very stubborn. She has never stopped making me worry. A while ago, he had run away from home because of his studies. These days, she has been staying at someone else's house to take care of my friend's child. I didn't know that she would suddenly come back, so I asked you out. She must be tired and have a lot to tell me. That's why she said that. I can't hurt the child's heart. It's true that you are afraid that she will be sad, but you can leave like this. Aren't you afraid that I will suffocate to death?" Yang Cheng said dejectedly. Tang Wan covered her mouth and chuckled. She looked at Yang Cheng playfully. "Don't you know that women are weak, but mothers can do anything for their children? Although I like you, you are still far from being comparable to my daughter." After Tang Wan finished speaking, she waved at Yang Cheng and trotted away from the beach. After a while, she drove away in her Land Rover. Yang Cheng sighed. Just as he was wondering if he should find another woman to vent his anger, his phone vibrated. It was a text message from Tang Wan. "Hold it in. Next time, I will collect all the principal and interest." There was a heart at the end of the text. Yang Cheng almost spat blood on the screen of his phone. Collect all the principal and interest. If he waited for her to ask for it, he would be suffocated. But before he turned off his phone, it vibrated again. Yang Cheng looked at the number. It was Lu Mingyu calling. "Miss me so soon?" Yang Cheng asked. Lu Mingyu's tone was a little lazy. "Yang Cheng, are you free? Didn't I say that I will be here anytime?" Yang Cheng said with a smile. He felt that Lu Mingyu should be drinking. "Then come to the bar and find me. I need your help with something. Tell me which bar. I will go immediately." At this moment, Yang Cheng needed someone to help him put out the fire. Obviously, Lu Mingyu, who he hadn't been with for a long time, was the most suitable helper. Lu Mingyu gave him an address. Yang Cheng thought about it and couldn't help but laugh. The bar was just a street away from the beach. He only needed to walk to get there quickly. 10 minutes later, Yang Cheng walked into the small bar called Red Danube. As soon as he entered, he smelled a mixture of incense and alcohol. After a slight search, he found that she was sitting alone in a corner. There were 3 bottles of whiskey on the table. It was obvious that this lonely woman had drunk a lot tonight. Yang Cheng walked up to Lu Mingyu and reached out to touch her flushed face. "Why do you drink so much alone?" "I work in PR. This little bit of alcohol is nothing. Lu Mingyu smiled sweetly and drank the amber liquid in the glass. You call me here to let me carry you? Yang Cheng didn't stop her because Lu Mingyu didn't seem drunk. A blank and gloomy look flashed across Lu Mingyu's face. Do you know, in the past, in order to wait for that person, I never got drunk in a bar. I never really had a party with friends. I don't even dare to come to such a place. I'm afraid that someone will hit on me. I'm afraid that a bad guy will touch me. If that's the case, no one can help me get rid of it. Lu Mingyu raised her head and looked at Yang Cheng. She pursed her lips and said, I don't want to give up. Other women have experienced it. Why did I miss it? So today, I specially came to try it. It's really disappointing. It seems that I'm old. After drinking so much alcohol, no one is willing to hook up with me. They don't even give me a chance to reminisce about my lost youth. Yang Cheng smiled. Lu Mingyu actually wanted him to perform a hero saving the beauty and let her experience a young couple's romance that she had never experienced before. Although both of them were in their 30s and were still considered young, Yang Cheng felt that he would blush if he really acted like a young couple in a student group. What should I do? Should I hire someone to act as a surrogate? Let them tease you and I beat them up? Yang Cheng said jokingly. Lu Mingyu shook her head and suddenly said slyly, No need. I have prepared other plots. What? Did you bring money? Lu Mingyu asked. Yang Cheng naturally brought money. He took out a card and a few crumpled bills from his pocket. You didn't bring money? Lu Mingyu smiled and nodded. She stood up and walked slowly to Yang Cheng's side. She hugged Yang Cheng's neck and whispered in Yang Cheng's ear, Don't pay. Let's run away. After listening to Lu Mingyu's soft but hooligan words, Yang Cheng smiled bitterly. Baby, this doesn't seem like something you should do. Why are you acting like a rebellious girl? You're right. I want to rebel. I want to do something that I never had the chance to do before. Can you accompany me? Lu Mingyu looked at Yang Cheng expectantly. Yang Cheng felt that the woman in front of him was a bit pitiful. Her most precious period of time had gone up in smoke because of her fruitless wait. When she wanted to fill up the emotional void of the past, she could only sadly choose this silly way, a rebellious way. Perhaps for her, no matter how crazy she was, it was just an elegy to the golden years. Hold my hand and don't let go, Yang Cheng said resolutely. A trace of clarity flashed in Lu Mingyu's eyes, and she nodded. Yang Cheng dragged Lu Mingyu to the entrance of the bar. A vigilant bar waiter immediately blocked their way. Sir, this lady hasn't paid yet, the waiter said with a fake smile. Yang Cheng turned around and winked at Lu Mingyu. Lu Mingyu understood and grabbed Yang Cheng's hand tightly. Yang Cheng reached out and patted the waiter's shoulder with a friendly face. Brother, are you sore here? The waiter looked at Yang Cheng's hand on his shoulder and said confusedly, No, sir. Please don't make things difficult for us. It's not difficult. I just want you to feel sore. Yang Cheng smiled. He used a little force on his fingertips and buckled the waiter's shoulder joint. Hiss! The waiter took a deep breath. The intense pain made him take a few steps back. Let's go. Yang Cheng seized the opportunity and ran out of the bar while holding Lu Mingyu's hand. When the waiter turned around, he saw that the two of them had already run a long distance. He desperately chased after them for a few steps, but he was blocked by the crowd and lost his target. He was so angry that he could only shout. But who would be so free to help him catch people on the street? Yang Cheng was very familiar with escaping. It was too easy for him to get rid of a waiter who had no experience in catching people. He pulled the panting Lu Mingyu and ran across the street before stopping. My dear Xiao Yu, how do you feel about this meal and dash experience? Yang Cheng looked at the panting Lu Mingyu and couldn't help but ask. You're going to tire me out. When Lu Mingyu heard Yang Cheng's affectionate and fancy way of addressing her, she blushed and was out of breath. Ahem, I won't eat and dash next time. I'm too tired. I ran until my heart almost jumped out. Yang Cheng sighed. Even if you want to make up for your past youth, why do you have to make it difficult for your physical strength? If you don't run when eating and dash, you'll be sent to the police station if you're caught. I can't think of any other good ideas, Lu Mingyu said sullenly. She looked around and found that the two of them had run to the beach. Suddenly, Her eyes lit up. Yang Cheng, I thought a new idea. Chapter 236. Hearing Lu Mingyu's excited tone, Yang Cheng got a little nervous. It can't be a business that's even more illegal than eating and dashing, right? After all, some people who were usually reserved and calm were much scarier than lunatics when they went crazy. What do you want to do now? Yang Cheng asked anxiously. Let's watch the sunrise here tomorrow. I've never seen the sunrise over the sea, Lu Mingyu said excitedly. Yang Cheng heaved a sigh of relief. It was necessary to get up very early to watch the sunrise in this weather, but he really couldn't bear to refuse Lu Mingyu's naive request. Okay, then we have to sleep in the hotel here by the sea tonight. The hotel that Yang Cheng mentioned was the Maple Forest Hotel that he couldn't go to with Tang Wan previously. If Tang Wan knew that this guy didn't go with her and found another woman to stay with, who knew if she would crush the steering wheel of the car? On the 23rd floor of the hotel, the balcony of the room faced the sea. As soon as they entered the room, Lu Mingyu opened the glass door and walked to the balcony. She looked at the sea level that was like a black mirror in the distance, and her expression was a little intoxicated. Yang Cheng hugged her soft waist from behind, leaned his head on the woman's shoulder, and said with a smile, "Stop looking. What's the point of watching at night? We can watch the sunrise here tomorrow morning." Lu Mingyu felt that Yang Cheng's hands were rubbing her lower abdomen and chest, bringing a tingling sensation. She turned around and rolled her eyes at him coquettishly. "What's the hurry? I've already followed you here. How could I not give it to you?" "Of course I'm in a hurry. I haven't been holding it in for a while, but I've been holding it in ever since Tang Wan left without a conscience." "Xiao Yuer, be good, go take a bath." "No, I want to stay a little longer. You'll catch a cold, be obedient, and go take a bath. I'm not going to bathe." "Look at your anxious look. I won't give it to you." Yang Cheng looked at the mischievous look on Lu Mingyu's face and finally made up his mind. "Okay then, I won't wash either." "And that's right. Accompany me to look at the sea," Lu Mingyu happily said. Yang Cheng smiled evilly. "Even if I don't want to wash, I still have to do what I have to do." Before Lu Mingyu could react, Yang Cheng flipped her over. Lu Mingyu's hands held onto the railing of the balcony. In her shock, she felt a chill on her buttocks. Because Lu Mingyu was wearing a skirt with only black pantyhose inside, Yang Cheng suddenly lifted the skirt at this moment, and the plump and round buttocks were immediately exposed to the air through the mesh. "Yang Cheng, what are you doing?" Lu Mingyu was on the verge of tears. This guy, is he going to do it on the balcony? He, facing the sea, there's no way around the warm spring, flowers blooming. Autumn is here, facing the sea. Let's sing a few spring songs. Yang Cheng laughed as he held Lu Mingyu's body with one hand to prevent her from moving. His other hand had already removed the last layer of the woman's cover to her knees. At this moment, there were balconies of the same specifications on both sides, and many of the windows were still lit. Who knows when someone would come out to look at the sea like them? Relying on the wind blowing and the sound of the waves, Lu Mingyu's moans were covered, and Yang Cheng's laughter also drifted in the wind. Lu Mingyu, who had drunk a lot of alcohol that night, felt one of Yang Cheng's hands intimately caressing her sensitive area. Her delicate buttocks trembled slightly, and her face was as red as blood. She felt that part of her body was instantly moist, and in the midst of the unbearable itchiness, she felt even more empty. Her whole body felt like it was collapsing. Perhaps it was from the bottom of her heart, but she liked this special environment and liked Yang Cheng's rough behavior. Previously, she had just had a night of pleasure with Yang Cheng, but she already had a taste of it. Lu Mingyu had also reached the age of extreme desire. At this moment, after being provoked by Yang Cheng, the cold wind blew, and her arousal became even more obvious. Stop playing," Lu Mingyu begged. Yang Cheng looked at the soft, mature woman under him with appreciation, and played with Lu Mingyu's pink flesh with one hand. "How about it? Facing the sea, facing the vast night sky, and doing something we love on the balcony with the cold wind? Is it romantic?" "You bad guy." Lu Mingyu grabbed the railing with both hands, and her curvy waist extended backward, raising her inverted triangular buttocks. This posture almost made her die of embarrassment, but Yang Chung still kept touching her, as if he was going to make her anxious to death. Yang Chung felt that it was time. His two hands reached forward and held the pair of soft papayas that were hanging down heavily. Don't go soft in the legs later, ah? Lu Mingyu was already speechless, but her red lips were half open. When the heat entered her empty and cold body, Lu Mingyu trembled and felt like she was about to suffocate. When the tide of happiness hit her, Lu Mingyu completely forgot where she was. The effect of the alcohol made her drowsy, and she indulged in Yang Cheng's crazy indulgence. A night of entanglement passed in the blink of an eye. The next morning, the sky was just beginning to brighten. Yang Chung sat up from the bed, and next to him, Lu Mingyu's whole body was nestled in the white, fluffy quilt, only revealing a few strands of black hair. Get up, little lazy pig. Watch the sunrise. Yang Chung smiled and patted Lu Mingyu's buttocks. Lu Mingyu slowly got out of the quilt, and in a daze, she snorted. At this moment, the mature woman was no doubt a little girl acting like a spoiled child. It's all your fault. I can't get up, Lu Mingyu complained. Last night was too crazy, and she faintly felt that her lower body had not recovered from the numbness. Yang Chung smiled and suddenly put his hands into Lu Mingyu's quilt. He lifted her up and hugged her. Ah! Lu Mingyu let out a cry of surprise, and her whole body and quilt were hugged by Yang Chung. Yang Chung hugged Lu Mingyu, who was still curled up in the quilt, and kissed her tender cheek. It's cold. I'll hug you like this to watch the sunrise. After that, Yang Chung carried Lu Mingyu to the balcony. The cold wind blew on his firm upper body, but Yang Chung did not feel any discomfort. Put on some clothes first, you'll catch a cold, Lu Mingyu said worriedly. She still felt cold under the quilt. You know how strong my body is, I'll be fine. Yang Chung winked at her. Lu Mingyu blushed, and under the shyness and joy, her eyes looking at Yang Chung became softer and deeper, and all kinds of complicated expressions flashed through her eyes. When the red glow from the sea gradually dyed half of the sky, Lu Mingyu moved her eyes away from Yang Chung and looked in the direction of the sunrise. Yang Chung, Have you brought other women to watch the sunrise before? No. I'm so happy that I can be your first time. Yang Chung was slightly stunned. He looked down at the peaceful face of Lu Mingyu. Her perfect oval face looked dazzling in the pale, golden morning sun. A sense of guilt suddenly rose in Yang Chen's heart. He had been too greedy. The women around him probably didn't feel good about it. Little you are. I'm sorry. I'm very stubborn in this aspect. I've always thought that the best way to deal with feelings is not to give up, but to treat everyone I like sincerely. Maybe this is an irresponsible excuse, but I will do that. Yang Chung laughed at himself. I will treat you well. Lu Mingyu did not speak. She shrunk her head and snuggled into Yang Cheng's arms. The quiet and sweet time was interrupted by the phone's vibration. Yang Cheng looked at Lu Mingyu embarrassedly and carried her back to the room. After putting her back on the bed, he picked up the phone. It was Chiang Wei. Yang Cheng was a little surprised. Chiang Wei, baby, why are you calling so early in the morning? Chiang Wei's tone was not relaxed. Hubby, were you not at home last night? Yeah, I spent the night outside. Yang Cheng had a bad feeling. Chiang Wei sighed softly. I knew it. What happened? Did something happen at home? Yang Cheng's face darkened. Last time you asked me to send someone to take care of your family. I sent 4 smart men to protect them secretly and asked them to report to me every day. This morning they suddenly lost contact. I sent someone to check. Last night they were knocked out by some kind of drug. What about the situation at home? That was what Yang Cheng was most concerned about. The door of the villa was open all night. There was no one in the house. I got it. Yang Cheng hung up the phone and took a deep breath. He turned to Lu Mingyu, who was lying on the bed with a puzzled look, and said, I have something urgent to do, so I can't have breakfast with you. I've already paid for the room. I'll hand him my card later and take a taxi to the company. Seeing that Yang Cheng was in a hurry to leave, Lu Mingyu asked worriedly, Yang Cheng, what happened? Do you need me to go with you? It's okay, baby. Yang Cheng smiled relaxedly and walked out of the room quickly. Yang Cheng almost ran all the way back to the place where he parked the car. After driving, he kept overtaking other cars to rush back to the villa in Dragon Garden. On the way, Yang Cheng called Qiang Wei again and asked Qiang Wei to use the underground network to search for the whereabouts of Lin Ruoxi and Mother Wang. Although he knew the chances were slim, he still had to find them. To be able to knock out Qiang Wei's elite subordinates without anyone noticing and take away 2 living people, the other party was definitely not an ordinary robber. A hint of killing intent flashed in Yang Cheng's eyes. Fortunately, the other party had kidnapped Lin Ruoxi and Mother Wang. It seemed that they were trying to negotiate with him. In that case, the 2 of them were temporarily safe. What Yang Cheng wanted to know the most was who the other party was. No matter who it was, they took advantage of his absence to make a move on his women. Yang Cheng no longer planned to hold back. When he returned to the villa in Dragon Garden, the door was indeed open. Yang Cheng got out of the car and quickly ran into the living room. He found that the living room did not seem to have changed, and there were no signs that it had been searched. Yang Cheng frowned and ran up to his room on the 2nd floor. Sure enough, it had been searched, and his clothes and belongings were in a mess. At the same time, a black and white note was neatly placed on Yang Cheng's bed. Yang Cheng walked forward and picked up the note. The words written on the note were not in the Huaxiao language, but in Japanese. Your Majesty Pluto, your residence is too big. It will not be easy to find the God Stone. We will wait patiently in the apricot forest in the southern suburbs of Zhonghai. We will use the precious lives of your Majesty Pluto's family to exchange for the God Stone in your hands, Tengu. The note was directly torn into pieces by Yang Cheng. Yang Cheng thought for a moment and called Qiang Wei. Baby Qiang Wei, tell your people to stop searching. The enemy this time is not something they can handle. Hearing Yang Cheng's calm tone, Qiang Wei did not say anything else. She said, "Be careful," and hung up the phone. Chapter 237. Yang Cheng walked out of the room and went all the way to the underground garage of the villa. After turning on the lights, the garage was lit up as if it was daytime. Because the garage was regularly cleaned and maintained, all the luxury cars looked shiny. Yang Cheng did not miss the luxury cars that ordinary people would drool over. He walked to the corner of the garage and reached out to touch a brick on the wall. After pinching the brick, Yang Cheng carefully pulled it out. The seemingly smooth brick was actually pulled out of the wall. After revealing a small black gap, Yang Cheng reached in and took it out. When he took it out, there was a palm-sized black square box. He did not know what the black box was made of, but under the light, there was a strange luster. This was the box that Yang Cheng took out after smashing the wall and brought here when he moved out of the shabby apartment he rented. Yang Cheng looked at the square box in his hand and shook his head with a bitter smile. This thing of yours is really troublesome. Shaking his head, Yang Cheng carefully opened the box to reveal the item inside. It was a similarly black cloth. In the middle of the cloth, there was a transparent crystal the size of a thumb. It looked like a diamond, but it was emitting black light patterns. After Yang Cheng took out the crystal, he put it in his pants pocket, threw the box back into the small hole, and blocked the brick. Half an hour later, Yang Cheng drove to the southern suburbs botanical garden. Because it was early in the morning, most people had just gone to work. As the most remote wild botanical garden, it could be said to be the wilderness outside of China. Naturally, there was not a single person in sight. Yang Cheng had never been here before. Because it was autumn and winter, there was not even a toll collector at the door. Yang Cheng drove directly into the garden area. Looking at the sign on the asphalt road, he parked the car outside the apricot forest area that Tengu had mentioned and walked into the forest where the temperature was extremely low. Following the winding cobblestone path that no one cleaned, Yang Cheng gradually walked into the depths of the apricot forest. As a living fossil, the ginkgo trees were particularly dense in this area. Large fan-shaped leaves fell to the ground and were crushed into soil. When he reached an empty space of more than 10 square meters, Yang Cheng stopped and raised his head. At the top of the 2 ginkgo trees in front of them, 2 men in tight black ninja suits were standing. One was tall and strong, and the other was thin and small. They were the 3 ninjas of Yamada's sect, Tengu and Tanuki, whom he hadn't seen for a long time. Behind Yang Cheng was Bo Ri, who was playing with her red nails. Her long hair fluttered in the wind as she walked out from nowhere. Her face was covered by a red and black mask, and there was a flash of light in her eyes. "Where is he?" Yang Cheng asked directly. Tengu laughed crudely. "Your Majesty Pluto, there's no need to rush. If we want to meet someone, we have to meet Godstone first. The Godstone is in my pocket, but I want to confirm the safety of the hostage," Yang Cheng said. Hee. Tanuki laughed sharply. "I didn't expect that the god of death, Hades, who has killed countless people, would actually use the Godstone to make a deal for an ordinary woman." Bo Ri's charming eyes glanced at Yang Cheng's pocket. "Your Majesty Pluto, as a woman, I'm a little jealous." Yang Cheng frowned. "It's not one woman, you've kidnapped two." Tengu snorted. "Don't worry, as long as you give us the Godstone, we'll first return the elderly in your family to you. If you let us run for a kilometer and don't chase after you, we'll use other methods to tell you where your wife is. Of course, if you do anything to us or trick us, then your beautiful wife will become a skeleton." "Are you guys threatening me?" Yang Chun asked with a cold expression. Tengu laughed grimly. "We know that your Majesty Pluto hates it when people threaten you, but please think carefully. Your woman, your family, are in our hands. If anything happens to us, they'll be buried with us." Yang Cheng clenched his fists tightly, but in the end, he slowly loosened them. Letting out a long sigh, Yang Cheng reached into his pocket and took out the black crystal that was the size of a fingertip. When the crystal appeared in front of the three Jinnins, they all revealed fanatical gazes at the same time. "It's really in your hands." Tengu laughed heartily. Bo Ri's eyes shone brightly as she stared at the crystal in Yang Cheng's hand with full concentration. "Your Majesty Pluto, leave it to us." Tanuki laughed strangely. "Let me confirm Mother Wang's safety first." Yang Cheng kept the crystal in his palm. "We can swear on the dignity of the great Japanese samurai that if you give us the Godstone, we'll definitely return you, the two hostages, safely," Tengu said sternly. "Your dignity is worthless." Yang Cheng shook his head. "You're slandering me," Tengu said angrily. "No matter what you think, if you don't hand over the Godstone, we won't let you get the hostages back. If you dare to make a move, and they don't get rescued in time, they'll die." Yang Cheng raised his head and closed his eyes, as if he was considering what to do. At this moment, Tengu and Tanuki jumped down from the tree. Rustle. Two rays of cold light flew past where they were standing. "Who is it?" The two of them were suddenly attacked by hidden weapons. They were furious and looked in the direction where the hidden weapons came from. A tall and graceful woman, wearing a white sweater and light-colored jeans, walked out from the forest. Her cheeks were pink, and her eyebrows were like crescent moons. Every move she made was cold and aloof. "It's you again." Flower Rain. Hanya recognized the person. It was Choi Yun's sister, Kai Ning, one of the group of Eight's Flower Rain. Kai Ning's expression was extremely serious. Her gaze towards Yang Cheng was as sharp as a knife. "Yang Cheng, the general has ordered that you can't hand over the god's stone." After the experience in Tibet, Yang Cheng naturally knew who the general was. It was the grandfather that Lin Ruoshi refused to acknowledge, Lin Jigua. "I think that's my freedom." Yang Cheng shrugged. "The god's stone is in my hands, not his." "That's right, Miss Flower Rain. If you want to stop the deal between us and His Majesty Pluto by yourself, I hope you'll think it through." Tanuki smiled evilly. Kai Ning glanced at them coldly. "Don't forget where you are. Even if we don't touch you, it doesn't mean that we don't have the ability to kill you." Then let's see if His Majesty Pluto will disregard the life and death of his wife and family," Hanya said with a charming smile. Kai Ning ignored them and turned to Yang Cheng. "Yang Cheng, I know that you have the Godstone in your hands. We, the Yellow Flame Iron Brigade, have always known about it. However, we didn't ask for it from you because we trust that you won't be in cahoots with those evil forces. You are on friendly terms with us now. We won't force you for the Godstone, but you can't give it to the Yamata sect. Do you know what kind of consequences it will bring if you give it to the Yamata sect? There will be a huge threat to Huaxia and the whole world." Yang Cheng pondered for a moment and said, You know Ruashi's identity. You know the relationship between the general and her, right? Kai Ning was stunned. She nodded, I know. That's why I admire the general's incorruptibility. You know? Yangchen couldn't help but laugh. What do you know? He kept saying that he wanted Ruashi to call him Grandpa, and that Ruashi shouldn't ignore him. But at this time, he actually told others not to save his own granddaughter for a stone that isn't even in his hands. Can't you tell the difference between righteousness and personal feelings? How can they be compared? The general is sacrificing his own family for the sake of millions of civilians. Is there anything shameful about that? Is he not worthy of our respect? Kai Ning said loudly. I'm sorry, I don't have such noble feelings. All I know is that I wouldn't trade my family and my woman for them, even if I had to trade the whole world for them. If your Yellow Flame Iron Brigade sells your family to protect this country, I really wonder if you have enough family members? You? Kai Ning was furious. She gritted her teeth and said, You're being unreasonable. I'm being unreasonable. Yang Chung laughed coldly. According to your logic, the soldiers at the border and the generals who have their hands tied, aren't they protecting the country? Aren't they protecting Hua Xia to protect their loved ones? If the people are gone, how can there be a home? Without a home, how can there be a country? How can there be protecting the country? Sacrificing one's family is a sign of weakness. If you don't do anything when you can save someone, you're a lunatic. I didn't really understand Abbess Yin Miao's state of mind before, but now I do. Lin Jigua sent his son and daughter-in-law to die at the front lines. How does it feel to Abbess Yin Miao? If you don't have the ability, don't try to show off. I've never heard of any secret organization in other countries sacrificing their family members to gain respect. Kai Ning's face was dark. No matter what you say, the general ordered me to stop you from giving them the Godstone. Our backup will be here soon, and those three won't be able to escape. Before that, you can't agree to their request. Even if Lin Ruashi dies, it'll be a sacrifice for the country. A living entrepreneur is far more useful to the country than a dead person. Yang Chung took out the crystal. I can't risk Ruashi's life. I'd be more than happy to trade this stupid stone for my wife's life. With that, Yang Chung flung the crystal towards Tengu. Heavenly Hound was overjoyed. He went forward and grabbed it. When his tentacles touched the ice-cold crystal, he laughed and said, Your Majesty Pluto is indeed sensible. Hanya and Tanuki felt like they were dreaming. They were overjoyed to see Tengu get the crystal. Let them go, Yang Chung said expressionlessly. Kai Ning saw the god's stone land in Tengu's hands, and her expression changed. She glared at Yang Chung. Are you crazy? You really gave them the god's stone? You're the ones who are crazy. I used the stone to save my wife. Why do you care? Yang Chung roared. Is Lin Ruashi worth it for you to do this for her? Worth it. Every woman by my side is worth more than this stone. Kai Ning was stunned by Yang Cheng's deafening words. Tears welled up in her eyes. He, Your Majesty Pluto is really an infatuated man. The person you're looking for is on this piece of paper. If you're late, you won't have time. Hanya's eyes flashed. Suddenly, a thin piece of paper appeared in her hand. She kissed it lightly and threw it into Yang Cheng's hands. Hanya, Tengu, and Tanuki disappeared into the forest, leaving no trace behind. To a ninja, hiding in the forest was too easy. Even if Yang Cheng wanted to chase after them, it wouldn't be easy. Moreover, Yang Cheng wouldn't dare to leave the hostages behind and chase after them. Kai Ning regained her senses. She wanted to chase after them, but it was too late. She turned around and looked at Yang Cheng angrily. Look at what you've done. The general won't let you go. You're provoking our Yellow Flame Iron Brigade. Chapter 238. Yang Cheng ignored Kai Ning's agitation and looked at the piece of paper in his hand. There was a geographical coordinate written on it. It must be the place where Lin Ruashi and Mother Wang were imprisoned. After taking out his phone, Yang Cheng contacted Xiang Wei. Hubby, you finally contacted me. Has the matter been resolved? Yes. Xiang Wei, help me search for a coordinate on the internet and send someone to rescue them. After Yang Cheng told Xiang Wei the coordinates given by Hanya, he hung up the phone and looked up. Kai Ning was still standing in front of him without moving. He frowned and said, "If you want to treat me as a criminal and bring me to see that bullshit general of yours, I'll tell you directly. Since you and your sister know Ruashi, I won't kill you, but I'll cripple your martial arts. You're so overbearing." Kai Ning knew that Yang Cheng was speaking the truth. In fact, if she could do it, she would immediately stab this man with darts. Yang Cheng ignored her and walked out of the forest the way he came from. When he returned to the car, Xiang Wei called. After all, there were branches of the Red Thorn Society in the whole of Zhonghai. It would be easy to find people with the coordinates. "Hubby, luckily we found out early. Otherwise, something bad would have happened," Xiang Wei said. "Where are they?" Although Yang Cheng looked calm on the surface, his heart was trembling. Xiang Wei said, "My subordinates in the West District found them in a pool behind a water plant after they were drugged. The pool was being filled with water. If we were a quarter of an hour later, they might have drowned." Yang Cheng was annoyed. It was obvious that the three of them dared to kill. If they didn't tell him the coordinates, then Lin Ruashi and Mother Wang would definitely drown. "Thank you, Xiang Wei babe. Hand them over to the police station in the West District," Yang Cheng said. At the same time, he had already blacklisted the Tengu trio in his heart. After hanging up, Kai Ning, who was following behind Yang Cheng, said, "The general is very angry. He said he's very disappointed in you." Yang Cheng turned around abruptly. His eyes were bloodshot. "I'm going to the police station to see my wife and Mother Wang. You'd better not mention that bullshit general of yours to me. He scummed my eyes. If you dare to mention him again, I'll kill him." The murderous aura that was as thick as ink made Kai Ning subconsciously take 2 steps back, unable to speak. Her eyes were filled with tears of grievance, but she forcefully held it back. Yang Cheng got into the car, started it, and drove to the police station on the west side. He needed to see Lin Ruashi and Mother Wang safe and sound before he could truly Anshin. As for the rest, he couldn't care too much. Kai Ning looked in the direction where Yang Cheng drove off. She stood there in a daze for a while, before reaching out to press a receiver in her ear. "General, Yang Cheng has left. Flower Rain, return to the branch now. We must strictly search the entire border of Zhonghai. We can't let the 3 from Yamada sect return to Japan." "Yes, but, General, Ruashi was almost killed. Do we need to visit her?" "No need. Let's get down to business." "Yes. By the way, where is Yang Cheng going now? Is he tracking the 3 from Yamada sect?" "He's going to the police station to see Ruashi and Mother Wang." At the same time, at the edge of a hidden hill in the southern suburbs, the Tengu trio stopped in their tracks. After confirming that no one was chasing them, the 3 of them revealed an excited look. Tengu opened his palm and looked at the crystal clear god stone that was flowing with dark light. He couldn't help but laugh wildly. "We got it. Finally. Finally, we got it. We could become gods, become gods." Tanuki laughed and went to Tengu's side. He patted Tengu's shoulder and looked at the god stone in Tengu's palm. "Lord Tengu, let me take a look. Is this stone really that amazing?" Tengu immediately put the god stone back into his pocket and said cautiously, "Tanuki, I got this through a meticulous plan. Before I hand the god stone over to the leader, I will never give it to anyone else." "Yo, Lord Tengu, do you think that Hanya and I will take advantage of you and steal the credit? You're so stingy to keep it to yourself. Don't tell me you want to keep it for yourself?" Tanuki laughed evilly. "Tanuki, you're slandering my loyalty to the leader. Don't challenge my patience," Tengu said angrily. Hanya heard it and laughed coldly. "Tengu, before we came, the leader said that I was the main planner of this plan. Although you succeeded, you didn't follow the leader's orders and acted on your own. Don't think that you can escape the leader's punishment." Hanya, although I like you, as long as I bring the Godstone to the leader, all the punishment won't be a problem. I will also ask the leader to make you my woman." Tengu grinned. A cold light flashed in Hanya's eyes. "I think you should give the Godstone to Tanuki." "Why? I was the one who got the Godstone. Why should I give it to you, 2 useless people?" Tengu said disdainfully. Tanuki laughed strangely. "Why? Because you're dying." Just as he finished speaking, Hanya, who was standing at the same spot, suddenly became blurry. Tengu was shocked. As a fellow Jinin, he immediately knew that Hanya wanted to kill him. Hanya, do you want to go to hell so badly? A sharp light flashed in Tengu's eyes. A short blade appeared in his hand, and he placed it horizontally in the air in front of his right. Clang! Hanya, who had appeared out of thin air, swung her dagger horizontally and blocked it. Tengu laughed coldly. Just as he was about to push Hanya away, his body suddenly trembled, and he knelt on the ground powerlessly. Tengu spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and howled in pain. He fell to the ground. Tanuki, who had a sinister smile on his face, stepped on Tengu's chest. Tengu, you must be happy to get the God Stone. You didn't even guard against me poisoning you? Tengu's voice was hoarse. He wanted to say something, but the image of Tengu patting his shoulder appeared in his mind. His anger surged, and he spat out another mouthful of fresh blood. Hee. Hanya, your poison is really effective. Although this dog is stupid, his body is still as strong as an ox. He actually fell so quickly. Tanuki was overjoyed. Hanya bent down with a frosty face and easily took the God Stone from Tengu's hand. Tengu, you disobeyed the leader's orders. Even if you stole the God Stone, you're still a traitor to the organization. Tanuki and I can complete the important task of passing the God Stone to the leader. That's right. Your escape technique might even be a burden to us when we leave Huaxia. It's better for you to be buried here. Tanuki clapped his hands and smiled at Hanya. Miss Hanya, can you let me take a look at the God Stone? Hanya glanced at him indifferently and threw the God Stone to Tanuki. You're indeed the leader's daughter. Your spirit is indeed different. Tanuki praised with a smile. He played with the God Stone, and a greedy look flashed in his eyes. Hanya laughed coldly. Tanuki, you better not play any tricks. Other than the leader, no one else in the organization knows how to use the God Stone. I know. Tanuki laughed. Miss Hanya, I just can't wait to transform into a god. In the desolate and cold forest, Tanuki's unceasing cold laughter reverberated in the air. On the other side, Yang Cheng drove to the West District Police Station. As it wasn't Yang Cheng's first time here, the police officers knew that he seemed to have some relationship with the bureau chief. When they saw Yang Cheng striding in, they didn't stop him. When he entered the big office inside, Yang Cheng immediately saw Lin Ruoshi and Mother Wang. The two of them were sitting at a big office table and cooperating with a police officer to record their statements. Because the two of them were originally wet, they had changed into simple clothes for the time being and had police jackets draped over their shoulders. However, Lin Ruoshi's hair wasn't dry yet. It was wet and loose. Her pretty face was cold and her lips were pale. She looked very dispirited. As a good friend and also the bureau chief, Choi Yun had been accompanying them for a long time. Her face was full of concern. When she saw Yang Cheng walk into the office, her face lit up. Yang Cheng, you're here. Mother Wang also turned her head to look at Yang Cheng. She smiled and called out, son-in-law. However, she was also old. After suffering such torture, her expression didn't look good. Lin Ruoshi seemed to not hear anything. She sat there quietly and didn't make sound. I'm sorry I came late and made you suffer. When Yang Cheng saw the two of them looking so gloomy, his heart ached, and he secretly regretted it. Lin Ruoshi raised her head and looked at Yang Cheng in a trance. Suddenly, she smiled bitterly. You don't even know how you were kidnapped. You don't even know how you came back. Even if you came early, what's the difference? You're just going to be kidnapped like us. Yang Cheng originally planned to be scolded or ridiculed by Lin Ruoshi. However, at this moment, Lin Ruoshi not only didn't say anything wrong about him, but also told him not to care too much. Yang Cheng was very upset. If he was at home, they would never be kidnapped. However, it was useless to say such words. Ruoshi, there won't be a next time. I will definitely protect you. Yang Cheng said seriously. Lin Ruoshi shook her head gently. Yang Cheng, you don't have to be like this. Although I'm often angry with you, I'm not an unreasonable woman. You're not the one who caused this to happen. I don't blame you for spending the night outside. I said before we got married that it's your freedom. Our kidnapping has nothing to do with you. You should go back to work. Yes, son-in-law, miss, and I don't blame you. Those bad people must have come for our family's money. It will only be more dangerous for son-in-law to stay at home. Mother Wang didn't want Yang Cheng to blame himself. Lin Ruoshi was an excellent businesswoman. Even if she was kidnapped and almost drowned, and there was no trace to be found, she still maintained a sober and rational view of everything. While Yang Cheng sighed for this, he could also feel the feelings of the two. Mother Wang had always been partial to him, but even Lin Ruoshi, who had been treating him coldly, told him not to be sad. Yang Cheng only felt a heart-wrenching pain in his chest. Perhaps she didn't love him, but she also cared about his feelings. But he couldn't tell her that the real culprit of their kidnapping was the thing in his hand. Choi Yun, who had been standing silently by the side with a sad expression, came forward and said to Yang Cheng, "Before you came, I've said almost everything that needed to be said. Now Ruoshi and Mother Wang are very tired. You can send them home." Yang Cheng nodded and went forward to help Mother Wang stand up. Then he said to Lin Ruoshi, "Ruoshi, let's go home." And Lin Ruoshi stood up and walked a few steps with Yang Cheng. Then she stopped and turned back to Choi Yun and said, "Yonyan, we will go to the party next week." "You?" Choi Yun was stunned. She looked at Yang Cheng and then looked at Lin Ruoshi, as if asking. Yang Cheng asked doubtfully, "What party?" "I'll tell you when we go back. Let's go." Lin Ruoshi said lightly and said goodbye to Choi Yun. Then she turned and walked out of the office. Chapter 239. On the way back to the villa at Dragon Garden, Mother Wang started sneezing from the moment she got in the car. It was obvious that she had caught a cold. Back in the living room, Lin Ruoshi said worriedly, "Mother Wang, take some medicine and sleep." Mother Wang smiled and shook her hand with a pale face. "There's no need, miss. Go back to your room and rest. You have to work. You can't get sick like me. My body is tough. This small cold is nothing. After all the commotion at home, I have to check if I lost anything valuable." "Mother Wang, don't check first. Look, everything is fine. This family doesn't lack money. Why do you care about that? Listen to Ruoshi. Take your medicine and rest first." Yang Cheng comforted her. Mother Wang thought about it and agreed. Seeing that nothing had changed, she felt dizzy and said, "Young master, there were only the two of us in the house before, and we didn't prepare any medicine. I'll have to trouble young master to make some." Yang Cheng naturally didn't have any objections. "Then Wang Ma, you and Ruoshi go upstairs to take a shower and change your clothes. I'll go out and buy some medicine before coming back." With that said, he hurriedly ran out the door. Wang Ma pursed her lips into a smile and said to Lin Ruoshi, "Miss, young master must be blaming himself. Anyone would be heartbroken to see him like that in the police station." "Is that so? I didn't pay much attention," Lin Ruoshi said plainly. "I said I don't blame him. If he thinks that way, there's nothing I can do. That's because young miss isn't usually warm to young master. Young miss suddenly being so considerate to young master. Young master must feel sorry for young miss." Mother Wang coughed and said with a smile. Lin Ruoshi frowned. "I don't usually treat him well, so shouldn't he be happy that I'm considerate to him now? This is where the son-in-law is different from other men. He doesn't take it to heart when miss doesn't treat him well. That's why he became like this." Mother Wang sighed softly and slowly walked upstairs. Lin Ruoshi stood in silence for a while before following him upstairs. At the same time, Yang Cheng, who was driving away from the villa, was thinking about what medicine to buy for the two of them. Since he wouldn't fall sick at all, Yang Cheng had no idea what medicine would be effective. He arrived at a private pharmacy and was about to enter when someone called out to him from behind. "Son-in-law, don't buy the medicine here," a slightly aged voice shouted. Yang Cheng turned around. Standing in front of him was an old man dressed in a gray robe. Walking on the road with this kind of attire, although it couldn't be said to be too unusual, it still attracted a lot of attention. "It's you." Yang Cheng narrowed his eyes. This person was Gray Robe, who was always by Lin Jigua's side. Since Gray Robe was already in Zhonghai, it meant that Lin Jigua was here as well. The power of the God Stone was indeed great. It actually made the leader of a Yellow Flame Iron Brigade rush over to Zhonghai. Gray Robe's expression was very kind, as if he was looking at an ordinary junior. Medicine is better. There's one nearby. I'll bring the son-in-law there. Yang Chung was silent for a while and nodded. Although he didn't like Lin Jigua, it didn't mean that he would reject this old man's kindness for no reason. Even though Yang Chung was a layman in pharmacology, he knew that Chinese medicine was better for conditioning the body. After following Gray Robe through a street, he turned at a crossroad and found an old Chinese medicine shop. After entering the shop, Gray Robe reported a prescription in a familiar manner. After the old doctor packaged it, he passed it to Yang Chung. Yang Chung took out some money to pay the bill and said, "Thank you." "You don't have to thank me, son-in-law. This is what I should do," Gray Robe sighed. "Miss was kidnapped by the Yamata sect. We are also responsible. Master asked me to express my gratitude to you. Doesn't he hate me for giving the God Stone to the Yamata sect?" Yang Chung asked mockingly. Gray Robe shook his head. "Master is indeed angry. The God Stone is very important. It can affect the distribution of power in the world. If it isn't handled properly, be it the Yellow Flame Iron Brigade or the organizations from other countries, it will be a disaster. The ninjas of the Yamata sect are best at hiding and escaping. You guys might not be able to catch them," Yang Chung said with a smile. "This is the other reason why I'm here," Gray Robe said solemnly. "We hope that you can help us track down a God Stone and help us kill the 3 people. I don't want to have anything to do with the God Stone anymore, and I don't want others to think that I'm working with you." Yang Chung rejected. "The God Stone has nothing to do with me now. If you guys have the ability to get the God Stone, it means that you guys are fated to get it. If the Yamata sect makes use of it, it can only mean that their luck is better than yours." Gray Robe's eyes lit up. "Master, you mean that you won't care no matter who the God Stone ends up with?" "That's right. I'll withdraw from the fight." Yang Chung nodded. "All right, it's a deal." Gray Robe let out a long sigh. "Actually, Old Master also has his concerns. He's worried that if his son-in-law interferes and takes back the God Stone, our large-scale search would be for naught. Since you don't plan to get the God Stone back, we can take a gamble. There's no use for me to get the God Stone. I'll only cause trouble for the people around me." Yang Chung smiled bitterly and waved his hand. "You guys go ahead and fight. I'm leaving now. I still have to brew medicine." Gray Robe nodded with a smile. "Brew the medicine according to the method written on the prescription. You'll only need 1 night to get rid of the cold. Send my regards to Miss Ruashi." Yang Chung nodded knowingly and left the pharmacy. After Yang Chung left, Gray Robe took out his communication device, connected it, and reported, "Master, the young master has agreed not to participate in the fight for the God Stone." That's not surprising. After all, the God Stone doesn't mean much to him anymore, but I didn't think that he would really give up on the God Stone for Ruashi. "Master, then next. Come back. Since Yang Chung won't interfere, we must seize this opportunity. We can't let Hanya and Tanuki return to Japan. Isn't there still Tengu? Tengu has been poisoned to death by them. His corpse was destroyed by the bone-dissolving powder. We just got the results of the test. Although Tengu is very strong, his escape technique is their weakness, which is also our breakthrough. If it's just Hanya and Tanuki, it'll be much more difficult to catch them. No matter what, whether we can carry out the God creation plan depends on this day and night. If too much time passes, the Yamata sect will definitely send people to help. If the Yamata sect takes it away, it's very likely that they'll create another troublesome enemy. So we can't be careless." "Yes, Master." Meanwhile, Yang Chung, who was driving back to the villa, was in a good mood, wondering if he should bring back something else. After all, he always felt sorry for the 2 women at home. After thinking for a while, Yang Chung turned the car to another street and bought some small gifts. As for the whereabouts of the God Stone, the secret competition between the Yamata sect and the Yellow Flame Iron Brigade didn't have much meaning to him anymore. His mind was already on decocting the Chinese medicine, which was new and fresh to him, and he had never done it before. Coming to the villa's kitchen, Yang Chung took out a crucible according to the steps on the prescription and started decocting the medicine while studying the steps. After a few minutes, the smell of Chinese medicine had already spread out of the kitchen and drifted to the 2nd floor. After taking a shower and changing their clothes, Lin Ruashi and Mother Wong smelled the smell and walked out of the room to go downstairs. When they saw Yang Cheng excitedly pouring the medicinal soup into a bowl, Mother Wang was slightly curious, while Lin Ruoshi was a little absent-minded. "Son-in-law, why did you want to buy Chinese medicine? Did you think of this prescription yourself?" Mother Wang asked curiously. Yang Cheng put the 2 bowls of medicine on the table. "I don't know how to write a prescription. It's an old doctor's prescription to expel the cold." Yang Cheng didn't mention gray robe, because he knew very well that if he mentioned gray robe, Lin Ruoshi definitely wouldn't take the medicine. "I haven't taken medicine for many years. I remember when old Madam was still here, whenever someone in the family got sick, old Madam would ask me to buy the medicine, and old Madam would brew it herself." Mother Wang said with nostalgia. "I remember at that time, Miss didn't want to take the medicine, and I had to coax her to drink it." Lin Ruoshi looked at the light brown medicine on the table and said, "Mother Wang, you drink it, I won't drink it." Yang Cheng was stunned. "Why not?" "You have to get rid of the cold, or else your body will be wet." "Yes, miss, the young master worked hard to brew it. Drink a little." Mother Wang also persuaded. "I said I won't drink it, so I won't drink it. I'm afraid of the bitterness, can't I?" Lin Ruoshi suddenly became a little grumpy, turned around, and ran upstairs. Yang Cheng quickly ran into the kitchen and came out with a small plastic bag, shouting to Lin Ruoshi on the stairs, "Wife, drink the medicine obediently, and I'll give you glutinous rice balls." Lin Ruoshi's footsteps stopped in the middle of the stairs. Her shoulders trembled slightly, and she suddenly turned around. Her eyes were red as she shouted, "Batty!" Then, she ran back into the room without looking back. Yang Cheng was dumbfounded. He didn't understand what was going on. Didn't this girl love glutinous rice balls the most? On the way back, she specially made a detour to buy it. Was the medicine really so bitter? Mother Wang showed a bit of bitterness and sadness on her face. Seeing Yang Cheng full of puzzlement, she said, "Young master, old Madam used to coax Miss with glutinous rice balls in the past, and let Miss drink the medicine. What you did made Miss remember old Madam." Yang Cheng was silent. He didn't expect that his unintentional action would make Lin Ruoshi feel sad and miss twice. No wonder she seemed to be about to cry. Then, "Mother Wang, you drink the medicine. Ruoshi can't help it if she doesn't drink it." Yang Cheng smiled helplessly. "I was shot lying down. I guess Ruoshi will roll her eyes at me for a few days." Mother Wang smiled and said, "I don't think so. Maybe Miss will like you more." "Because I reminded her of Grandma?" Yang Cheng asked. Rather than saying that she remembered old Madam, it would be better to say that you let Miss feel that you care about her. "Since you can do this, it means that you really care about Miss," Mother Wang said. Yang Cheng said embarrassedly, "This sounds a bit mushy. Didn't I just buy a few glutinous rice balls? If she eats shark's fin or bird's nest, I won't buy it." But just when Yang Cheng was about to take Lin Ruoshi's bowl of medicine back to the kitchen and pour out, the door of Lin Ruoshi's room on the 2nd floor suddenly opened again. Lin Ruoshi, whose eyes were still red, looked down from upstairs, her bright red lips slightly pouting, as if she had just been crying. Compared to her usual cold appearance, she looked a bit cuter. "Yang Cheng, what are you doing? Are you going to pour out?" "I haven't drunk it yet. Do you want me to be sick and unable to get up?" Chapter 240. Listening to Lin Ruoshi, she was going to drink it again. Yang Cheng suddenly froze on the spot. Shan Shan put the soup bowl back on the table and said with a bitter smile, "How could that be? My dear Ruoshi baby, come and drink it. Drink a mouthful and eat a meatball. Then it won't be bitter anymore." Lin Ruoshi walked down from upstairs and picked up the soup bowl on the table. The corners of her mouth raised slightly, as if she was trying not to laugh. "Are you lying to a child? I'm not a 3-year-old child, so I'll drink it." Yang Cheng grinned and said, "In my eyes, aren't you a child? You'll always be a child." Lin Ruoshi was a little unhappy. "What are you talking about? You're not older than me. Isn't it good to take care of you like a child?" Yang Cheng said. Lin Ruoshi's pretty face was dyed pink. "I'm not talking to you. You're not serious." Mother Wang, who had already finished drinking the medicine, saw the 2 young people together and walked back upstairs with a smile. Lin Ruoshi lowered her head and drank a mouthful of medicine. Before she could drink a second mouthful, She spat out her tongue from the bitterness and frowned. Yangqing couldn't help but laugh. He opened a plastic bag and took out the fresh, glutinous rice balls and handed them to Lin Ruoshi. Lin Ruoshi stared at it for a while, but in the end, she couldn't resist the temptation. She took it from Yangqing's hand and took a bite, but she seemed to feel embarrassed and explained while chewing, "I just don't like to waste, so I have to finish it." I know. Thrifty housekeeping," Yangqing said with a face full of confidence. Lin Ruoshi muttered, "It's good that you know." Then she continued to drink the medicine and eat the meatballs. By the time Lin Ruoshi finished drinking the medicine, almost all the meatballs in the box had been eaten. Yangqing felt that if there was a meatball eating competition, Lin Ruoshi could at least enter the top 8. Carrying the empty bowl of medicine, Yangqing walked into the kitchen, and even the pot used to boil the medicine began to be cleaned. Lin Ruoshi stood at the door of the kitchen, watching Yangqing's back as he busied himself. Suddenly, she felt warm in her heart. She stared at him in a daze, hoping that this moment would last forever. When Yangqing finished washing everything and turned around, Lin Ruoshi suddenly realized what she was doing. She turned her head and pretended that nothing had happened. Puzzled, Yangqing asked, "Ruoshi, babe, aren't you going to take a break?" I have something to tell you." Lin Ruoshi immediately thought of an excuse she could use. "What's the matter?" Yangqing asked. "You heard what I said to Yonyan at the police station just now. It's a party next Friday night. I want you to go with me," Lin Ruoshi said. Yangqing was surprised. Based on his understanding of Lin Ruoshi rarely participated in such public events. She almost never socialized. Lin Ruoshi said, "I know what you're thinking. I didn't go to such events before, but it's different now. Although it doesn't matter if I go or not, if you can go to such a large-scale event, you can get to know a lot of people who will help you develop in Zhonghai in the future." Yangqing suddenly realized that Lin Ruoshi was trying to find a network for him. That's why she wanted him to go. "I don't think it's necessary. It's good like this. I don't expect to get a high salary. You're tired enough managing Yulei. If I'm busy, life will be too boring," Yangqing said. Lin Ruoshi said faintly, "Since you know I'm tired, why don't you help me share some of the burden? Other families have men working hard outside. Why are you idling around all day? Why do you feel so at ease?" Yangqing was speechless. Indeed, according to the common sense, he was living off a woman. He lived in his wife's house, drove his wife's car, and his job was arranged by his wife. He wouldn't be fired even if he idled around. Lin Ruoshi thought that her words had hurt Yangqing's self-esteem. Apologetically, she said, "I'm not saying that you're not good or bad. I just feel that you're obviously capable of doing it. So why are you always willing to fall behind others? I don't expect you to have a meteoric rise in your career. I only hope that one day I can hand the company over to you. I'm not the kind of woman who has a strong career ambition. If possible, I'd rather stay at home and not go out. I don't want to fight with those people every day. Just like the game with my senior last time. To be honest, if I wasn't the CEO of Yulei, I wouldn't want to attack Changlin Media. But sitting in my position, even if I'm not willing, I have to consider too many people and bear too much responsibility. Do you understand what I mean?" Yangqing nodded and said with a smile, "I understand. I'll listen to your arrangements. I'll go with you." "Take over Yulei International?" Of course, Yangqing wouldn't do that. But in the current situation, if he rejected Lin Ruoshi, it would obviously cause the relationship between the two of them that had just eased to become rigid. Lin Ruoshi's face lit up. "You don't have to feel too much pressure. Just take it slow. This banquet is hosted by the second largest family in Zhonghai, the Liu family. The Liu family's main business is the Jade Clouds Group. Although it's not as well off as the Yuan family, it's still a well-known family in Zhonghai." "Liu family? Jade Clouds Group?" Yangqing suddenly remembered that Anshin's fiancé, the guy who argued with him in front of the police station for Anshin, was the young master of the Liu family. If he remembered correctly, his name was Liu Yun. He didn't expect Liu Yun to have such a powerful family background. No wonder Anshin's father pestered Anshin to marry Liu Yun. "This is a charity auction. There will be a ball first and then an auction. It will be held at the Jade Clouds Hotel of the Liu family. Almost all of the influential businessmen and politicians in Zhonghai will be there. You will be able to get to know them, and it will be of great help to you next time. Lin Ruoshi explained. Yang Cheng nodded and said, with you there, I think it's hard not to know anyone. Lin Ruoshi knew what Yang Cheng meant. Indeed, she rarely appeared in public, and many people had never seen her in person. Therefore, her appearance would definitely attract a large number of guests. Don't think too much. As long as you work hard, one day, everyone will approach you because of you. Lin Ruoshi said, I just don't like my woman being surrounded by people. Yang Cheng winked at Lin Ruoshi. Lin Ruoshi glared at Yang Cheng. Can't you say something serious? How am I not serious? Yang Cheng said gloomily. You are not serious at all. Lin Ruoshi snorted angrily. She ran back upstairs in her fluffy rabbit slippers. Yang Cheng packed up all of his things. He didn't plan on going to work, so he went back to his room upstairs. After turning on his computer, Yang Cheng took out a cigarette and lit it. Many emotions flashed through his eyes. Finally, he took a deep breath as if he had made some kind of decision. With the cigarette in his mouth, Yang Cheng quickly typed on the keyboard and entered a complicated and irregular website address in the browser. After hitting the Enter key, the web page directly entered a video chat box. On the other side video page was a soaring azure eagle. The system, waiting to connect, Yang Cheng waited for about a minute. The azure eagle disappeared, and the handsome face of a Caucasian man appeared on the computer screen. The man had a tattoo that looked like a number tag on his face. His green eyes were like a leopard searching for its prey. He wore a British military cap on his reddish-brown hair. Pluto, Sauron reporting for duty. The man used English with a thick nasal accent to greet Yang Cheng and made a standard aristocratic bow. His gaze towards Yang Cheng was actually filled with surging flames. Hearing the straight and old-fashioned voice, a trace of nostalgia flashed through Yang Cheng's eyes. He said in English, Sauron, long time no see. How is everyone? Other than missing Your Majesty Pluto, everyone is having a good time. Sauron seemed to be smiling, but his face seemed to be made of metal. It was very uncoordinated and strange. Yang Cheng puffed out a ring of smoke. Sauron, I've told you many times. You're not my slave, not my servant. You're my friend. Relax. Sauron grinned, revealing his black teeth. Your Majesty Pluto, I'm already very relaxed. But you should understand that as my benefactor, I have to pay my respects to you. I think most of my brothers and the rest of your friends feel the same way. Please believe me, we're very happy to be friends with a strong person like you. It's just that the process is a little difficult, and you never give us time to adapt. All right. Seems like you've been with that old man Constantine for a long time. You're starting to nag. Yang Cheng smiled. Soren laughed. Ron is an interesting man, but he's too stingy. When I came back from Italy last week, he only gave me 2 bottles of margaritas from the 1980s. I clearly saw that he had a bottle of champagne from the 19th century that he salvaged from the shipwreck. Don't you know Ron's philosophy? I know. Money has to be saved. Oh, I hope Satan will forgive this damn old man. Even his stinginess won't make the devil like him. He's a Catholic. You don't have to worry about the one you believe in not liking him, Yang Cheng said. Sauron shook his head. No. Please believe me, Your Majesty Pluto. Ron is definitely a fake Catholic. He knows very well that he can't go to heaven. His clothes can only be used to deceive women who only know how to dress up all day. In my eyes, they're no different from rags. But he still wants to earn money for intercontinental missiles. I'm angry about this. Yang Cheng saw Sauron's angry face and could not help but laugh. You guys are still so interesting. Yes, Your Majesty Pluto, although we think this is very serious. Since you think it's interesting, why do you want to go back to Huaxia? I hate countries that need to ask the government for help when they're firing machine guns, Sauron said. Sauron, no country can satisfy your interest for the time being. So I don't want to explain why I went back to Huaxia. I'm looking for you today because I hope you can help me with something. Sauron's eyes lit up. Your Majesty Pluto, are you finally going to stretch out your claws again? Tell me, is it the Middle East, North Africa, or the Amazon rainforest? Oh, damn it. My blood is boiling. If there's a sea war, I think I could get a few nuclear submarines. Those modified ones are too powerful. Yang Chung smiled bitterly and shook his head. Sauron, the world has been peaceful these few years. I don't want to be the one to start a war. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Your Majesty Pluto is already at the divine level. Indeed, you can't get involved in these things. May I know what the mission is? My friends and I will be happy to help you. Thank you, Sauron. Actually, it's very simple. I hope you can send a small team of Sea Eagles to Hua, Xiazhonghai. I need team members who are good at disguise and communication. They don't need to be too powerful. Also, I need you to help me find the whereabouts of a person, but must be kept secret. I will send you the information of that person and my contact information. Yang Chung made a direct request. Sauron gave a standard Navy salute. I will complete the mission with honor. Thank you. Yang Chung smiled and cut off the communication. Then, he sent the prepared information over. After the matter was settled, Yang Chung sat back on the bed and planned to lie down for an afternoon nap. At this moment, his phone vibrated again. Chapter 241. Yang Chung took the phone and saw that it was another unfamiliar number, but he still picked it up gloomily. Is this Yang Chung? A familiar female voice came from the other side. Yang Chung was stunned. He couldn't remember who it was for a while, but after careful consideration, he remembered that it was Abbess Yun Miao's voice. Yang Chung didn't want to be too intimate with this junior sister of Song Tianqing, but he couldn't be too cold either. After all, Song Tianqing was half a master to him. When they parted in Tibet, Yang Chung thought that they would never cross paths again in this life. He didn't expect that she would take the initiative to call him. While he was surprised, he was also a little perturbed. Abbess Yun Miao, I thought that I would never cross paths with you again in this life, Yang Chung said slowly. Abbess Yun Miao snorted coldly. Yang Chung, I've already said that I will take good care of you on behalf of Senior Brother Song. Don't think that I'm just making empty promises. Abbess, Song Tianqing, and I aren't even considered master and disciple. I respect him and am grateful to him, but it doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right? Yang Chung said. Since you've cultivated the endless resolve restoration scripture, you're the successor of Xu Shan. According to seniority, you're my junior nephew. How can it not have anything to do with me? Weren't you and Lin Jigua the ones who pushed Song Tianqing into the fire pit? Yang Chung cursed in his heart, but he couldn't say it out loud. Otherwise, this old Taoist nun would come up with a lot of reasons to humiliate him. For Song Tianqing's sake, he couldn't just kill her. Abbess, the Yellow Flame Iron Brigade should be busy capturing the 2 Jinnins of Yamata sect now. How can an expert like you have time to call me? Umph. Abbess Yun Miao snorted. I don't care about the actions of the Yellow Flame Iron Brigade. The group of 8 can choose not to participate in the activities. I don't want to act with people like Lin Jigua. I called you today to remind you of something. Yang Qing asked, what is it? I've said it before. I want Hui Lin to be your wife. Yang Chung was slightly stunned. The image of Hui Lin's shy and beautiful face appeared in his mind. She was beautiful, but how could she get to him so easily? Reverend, I've only met Hui Lin once. Why don't you let her be my wife? Don't you think about your own granddaughter? Her lifelong happiness is not a joke. Yang Chung advised. She's my precious granddaughter. I won't let her suffer. After all, the eyes of an old man are still more accurate. Yang Chung snickered inwardly. You're the one who misjudged me. Ahem, Yang Chung said solemnly. Abbess, you should give up that idea. A wife is not a pair of clothes or pants that you can change at will. I appreciate your kindness, but you can keep her. Why don't you accept it? Do you think that Hui Lin isn't as good as Lin Ruoshi? Yun Miao questioned angrily. You can't say that. I've said that Hui Lin is good. But since I've been married to Ruoshi for so long, and we've just settled down, how can I change her just like that? It's irresponsible to both Hui Lin and Ruoshi. Moreover, I don't know Hui Lin at all, and Hui Lin doesn't know what kind of person I am, Yang Chung said. Yun Miao couldn't deny it. Do you think that Lin Ruoshi knows? You're not using your real identity to face the people around you. These are all excuses. Since I've chosen you to be my granddaughter's husband, I have my reasons. You don't have to make excuses. As the saying goes, it's better to tear down a bridge than to break up a marriage. Abbess, Why do you have to be so forceful? Yang Chung frowned. Yin Miao smiled. I didn't say I want to tear down the bridge. I just want to change the other side before the bridge is built. I don't have any feelings for Hui Lin. What can come out of it if she directly interferes with me and Ruashi? Abbess Yin Miao argued. Don't tell me that Lin Ruashi married you because you had feelings for her. From what I know, that's not the case. Abbess Yin Miao, you can say whatever you want, but I won't accept it, Yang Chung said hesitantly. Abbess Yin Miao was silent for a while. All right, I'll ask you one last question. If you can answer me with certainty, I'll give up on my idea. Ask away. Yang Cheng's nerves tightened. I'll only ask you this. Do you think that Lin Ruashi loves you? Does Lin Ruashi love me? This question was too sudden. Yang Cheng wasn't prepared for it all. If you answer that she loves you, then I won't hold you up any longer. At this moment, Yang Cheng felt his mind go blank. Countless scenes unfolded in his mind like a scroll. Every scene and sentence caused him to sink into deep thought. Do you really think I'm willing to marry you? If you cooperate with me, after 3 years at most, when my career is completely stable, we'll go our separate ways. You don't have to bear any responsibilities. You think I'm willing to bring you along? You're a shameless person who would spout nonsense. I'll give you a huge reward, more than what you can sell mutton skewers for the rest of your life. When I, Lin Ruashi, have decided on something, I won't go back on it. Just follow the agreement and cooperate with me for 3 years. Don't cause trouble for me. I'm not going to follow the Lin family's stupid rules. I won't be so thick-skinned as to not let you go. Once the contract is up, it's up to you whether you want to stay or leave. You're useless. Get lost. I don't want to see you. Yang Chung was a little confused. He didn't know how to answer this question. Abbess Yin Miao laughed on the other end of the phone. How is it? You can't bring yourself to say it. Can you? This has nothing to do with Hui Lin. Yang Chung hesitated for a moment before sighing. How is it unrelated? This concerns my granddaughter's lifelong happiness and my wish for the rest of my life. Abbess Yin Miao said loudly. I've already decided to let Hui Lin come to Zhonghai next month. What? Yang Chung couldn't believe it. You heard it right. Next month, Hui Lin will go to Zhonghai alone to look for you. This is her cultivation. As for the results of her cultivation, neither you nor I know. I'm only asking her to look for you once she arrives in Zhonghai. As for the arrangements after that, it's up to you. In any case, you can't mistreat Hui Lin. Otherwise, I'll settle the score with you, even if it costs me my life. Abbess Yin Miao said firmly. Yang Chung was about to cry on his bed. What kind of arrangements are these? She's coming next month, and it's only Hui Lin. How am I supposed to deal with a living person like her? I can't possibly let Hui Lin end up like Chen Rong, going to Chang Wei's bar to be a waiter or even a gangster. That's all I want to say. Let's keep in touch next time. Wait. Yang Chung still wanted to decline, but Abbess Yin Miao had already hung up. Yang Chung threw his phone away and sat on his bed dejectedly. He frowned as he thought about how Hui Lin, that little nun, would suddenly appear by his side next month. His head hurt tremendously. However, the question that Abbess Yin Miao asked just now kept circling around in Yang Cheng's mind, making it hard for him to sleep peacefully in the afternoon. Since he was no longer sleepy, Yang Chung didn't intend to force himself to sleep. He sat on his bed and watched television until the evening. Mother Wang called him for dinner. When he walked downstairs, Lin Ruashi was already sitting there, eating slowly as usual. Seeing Yang Chung sit down, she simply nodded. Yang Chung sat face to face with her and looked at her silently. Lin Ruashi seemed to feel uncomfortable under Yang Cheng's gaze. She frowned and said, "Let's eat." Ruashi, we're husband and wife, right? Yang Chung asked. Lin Ruashi's movements froze. Doubt and confusion flashed across her eyes. She looked at Yang Chung for a long time with a complicated expression. In the end, she didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Did something happen?" Yang Chung was slightly disappointed. He forced a smile and said, "It's nothing. I was just thinking about how much time we have left before we can divorce according to the contract." Lin Ruashi's hand, which was holding the bowl, trembled slightly. She said, "Oh." She didn't say anything else and continued eating. Yang Chung shook his head. He picked up a bowl and scooped some rice for himself. Throughout the meal, both of them had their own thoughts. They didn't even know what they had eaten. Chapter 242. The next day, Yang Qing finally went to work as usual. After a leisurely morning, he had a meal with Zhao Hongyan and Zhang Kai at the staff cafeteria. Lu Mingyu was promoted to the department head. Although she was reluctant, everyone in the company did the same, so she could only go to the designated area to eat with the other executives. After Zhao Hongyan became single again, her family's problems were solved, so she was in a good mood. Although her salary was halved, it didn't affect her too much since she wasn't from the Moonlight Clan. She chatted and laughed with Zhang Kai, and the time it took to have a meal was quite long. Yang Cheng buried his head in his food and realized that the two ladies had only eaten a little when he was halfway through. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. You guys can talk in the office. If you keep eating like this, I won't even have time to take a nap. You're the only one taking a nap. We're working in the office, Zhang Kai said unhappily. Zhao Hongyan took a chicken drumstick from her plate and gave it to Yang Cheng. Eat your food. I've had enough. You eat it yourself. Yang Cheng said. Do you want me to take it back? Just eat it when I tell you to. Zhao Hongyan rolled her eyes and continued talking to Zhang Kai. Yang Cheng enjoyed the warmth in his daily life, so he didn't say anything to the two ladies and continued eating. After returning to the office, Yang Cheng realized that Yuan Yi was calling him on MSN. This guy recovered pretty quickly, Yang Cheng thought as he opened the chat. You can go online now? Yang Cheng asked. Yuan Yi sent a laughing emoji. I'm still in the hospital, but the wireless network is pretty fast. I was bored and wanted to play Warcraft with you. Your chest was shot, and the doctor said you can play games? Yang Cheng was worried that his wound would split open. Don't worry, the doctor said that as long as I don't do heavy physical labor, there won't be any problems. I don't know what happened, but once the bullet was taken out, my wound healed faster than anyone else. The doctor thought that this speed was quite scary. He said that he would recover in less than a month. Yuan Yi said in a good mood. Yang Cheng snickered to himself. It seemed like the true chi of the endless resolve restoration scripture that he had left in his body was still effective. Due to his special physique, he was still unable to feel how effective the endless resolve restoration scripture was for ordinary people. But now it seemed like the endless resolve restoration scripture was also extremely fast for ordinary people. Since Yuan Yi was fine, Yang Cheng had nothing better to do, so he played a few rounds of online games with him. After waiting for more than 2 hours, Yuan Yi said, I've just recovered from a serious illness, so I'm a little tired. Let's call it a day. I have to deal with some club matters. Then take care. I'm going to take a nap. Without waiting for Yang Cheng to log off, Yuan Yi suddenly sent another message. Wait, my mom is next to me. She said she has something to tell you. Your mother? Yang Cheng was stunned. Yuan Yi's mother was naturally Yang Jiyu, the woman that made him feel uneasy and unwilling to think about her. My mom said that she wants to buy you a cup of coffee and ask you some things. Is that okay? It's fine if you don't want to. She's just curious about you. You know, I don't have many friends. She hasn't formally thanked you for saving me this time. Yuan Yi said. Yang Cheng thought about it and felt that there was no reason to reject. Okay then, when and where? It's at the Blue Dream Cafe near Yulei. You should pass by on your way to and from work. Let's meet there in an hour. Yang Cheng didn't know that cafe. It was in a good location, but because of the high prices, there weren't many customers. After accepting Yang Jiyu's invitation, Yang Cheng felt a little uneasy. He didn't know what she would say to him. He was a little afraid, but also a little hopeful. His feelings were very complicated. After staying in the office for half an hour, Yang Cheng set off for the Blue Dream Cafe. Because it was downtown, parking was very inconvenient, so Yang Cheng didn't plan to drive there himself. From the Yulei bus stop in front of the company, he could directly take a bus that was 10 minutes away. After waiting for 5 minutes, a red bus with advertisements all over it stopped. Because it was afternoon, many white-collar workers had eaten outside and were returning to the company. There were quite a lot of people on the bus. There were no seats, so the bus was crowded with people standing on it. Yang Cheng didn't care. After returning to China for so long, he had already experienced Hua Xia's population problem. After getting on the bus, he took out a stack of cash from his trouser pocket, took out 2 bills, and stuffed them into the cashier box. Then he walked to the standing passengers. Because he would get off in 2 more stops, Yang Chung directly went to the back of the car door. Yang Chung grabbed a railing. His mouth and nose were filled with the stuffy smell of the car. He frowned and couldn't help but feel a little regretful. It was better to walk over by himself. Anyway, the temperature wasn't high, so he wouldn't sweat. Just as Yang Chung was feeling depressed, a clear voice beside him said, "Big brother, are you not feeling well? Are you squeezed?" Yang Chung turned around and saw a petite young girl, about 18 or 19 years old. She had shoulder-length black hair, fair and clean skin, and a small oval face. Her facial features were exquisite, especially her big eyes and thick and delicate curved eyebrows. At this moment, she was looking at him with a slightly guilty expression, making people feel pity for her. The girl was wearing an old brown coat and black tight jeans. In front of her was a large plastic bucket that looked like vegetable oil. Although the girl looked delicate and pretty, one could tell at a glance that she was a foreign-working girl. She exuded a smell of miscellaneous food. Most people chose to keep their distance after a glance. Yang Chung smiled and shook his head. "No, I just feel a little stuffy. It's none of your business." The girl nodded timidly. "Oh, then I'll move the oil bucket away a little." The girl still felt that Yang Chung was unhappy because of her oil bucket, so she moved the white oil bucket slightly to the side. "Aya, my pants." A white-collared woman with heavy makeup happened to be standing there. Her light yellow trousers were rubbed against the oil barrel. Although there was no trace, it still made her furious. She scolded, "You wicked girl! Where did this wild child come from? How can you leave things in the car like this? If my pants are dirty, can you afford to pay for it? Little bitch, you're so unlucky." I'm sorry. The girl was so scared that her whole body was trembling. She kept saying sorry and even bowed to the woman with her head lowered. However, the car braked slightly, and the girl's heart skipped a beat. She hit the railing next to her. The girl was in pain. She covered her head, and her eyes were red as if she was going to cry at any time. "Retribution, who told you to touch my pants? It's a few thousand yuan. Can a sour girl like you pay for it?" The white-collared woman seemed to be in a bad mood. The girl hit the muzzle again and taunted a few more times. Yang Chung sighed and silently pulled the girl's arm. He said, "Come closer to me and stand behind me." The girl hurriedly waved her hand. "No, big brother, you're already stuffy. I'll just stand here. If you touch my pants again, I'll take a knife and stab you to death. Come here." Yang Chung pulled the girl closer to him and bent down to pull the heavy oil bucket to his feet. The girl looked at Yang Chung gratefully and said, "Thank you," many times. Yang Chung gently smiled. "Why do you have so much oil? Is it for cooking?" The girl's white face blushed a little. She said in a low voice, "It's for small business. There's an oil store over there that sells cheap oil, so I took the bus to buy it." "Oh, it's not easy for you to do business at such a young age," Yang Chung said. "And," the girl softly responded. Her expression was a little gloomy, and she didn't say anything else. Yang Chung turned his head, and the corner of his mouth revealed a playful and helpless smile. 5 minutes later, the bus stopped at a bus stop. The girl bent down to pick up the oil bucket and waved at Yang Chung. "Big brother, thank you. I'm getting off." "Oh, I'm getting off too." Yang Chung jumped off the bus with the girl. There was no one else at the bus stop. Yang Chung and the girl walked to the side of the road, and the bus slowly drove away. When the girl saw Yang Chung coming down, her expression became slightly unnatural. She faintly smiled and said, "Big brother, are you getting off here too? Where are you going?" "Are you going in the opposite direction of where I go?" Yang Chung asked with a smile. The girl's pretty face paled. The timid and innocent smile on her face disappeared. Her expression became cold and helpless. "Uncle, you really have some skills." The girl suddenly seemed to have changed into a different person as she said directly. Yang Chung reached out to touch his pants pocket. With a light flip, there was a hole in his pants pocket. "Little sister, give me back my money and phone. I'm in a hurry, so I won't trouble you," Yang Chung said with a faint smile. The girl was also very straightforward. She directly took out Yang Cheng's phone and a stack of cash from her coat pocket and gave them to Yang Cheng. So straightforward. Yang Cheng was a little surprised as he asked as he received it. The girl snorted, "You saw through me in the car and didn't hand me over to the police. I owe you, and now I'll return it to you. We don't owe each other anything." "Yaya, little sister, you're very cute." Yang Cheng felt that this little girl was quite interesting. Just now in the car, after this girl tested Yang Cheng's sympathy, she went to provoke other people's disgust and made Yang Cheng take the initiative to accept her approach. After that, through skillful methods, she secretly cut open Yang Cheng's pants pocket and stole the cash and phone. All of this would have been a perfect plan and operation, but unfortunately, Yang Cheng's senses were much higher than ordinary people's, and he easily sensed the girl's true thoughts. "Don't call me little sister. I'm already 20 years old, and according to the law, I can get married. Let me ask you, did you know I was a pickpocket from the beginning?" The girl was obviously puzzled by her failure, so she asked doubtfully. Yang Cheng shrugged and winked at her. "It's a secret. TCH, forget it if you don't want to say it. Uncle will never see you again." The girl was still as straightforward as ever. Without any hesitation, she turned around, picked up the large barrel of oil, and strode away. Her strength was not weak. Lifting the large barrel of oil didn't seem to be strenuous at all. Obviously, the situation in the car was also faked. Yang Cheng looked at the girl's back as she walked away and smiled. This world is full of all kinds of people. If you interact more, you can always find interesting things. There were still 10 minutes before the appointment with Yang Jiyu. Yang Cheng didn't want to be delayed by this little episode, so he quickly walked to the Blue Dream Cafe. About 2 minutes before the appointment, Yang Cheng entered the cafe on time. He asked the waiter, and Yang Jiyu indeed made a reservation. Yang Cheng walked to the southernmost window of the magnificently decorated cafe. Yang Jiyu, who was dressed rather fashionably, was already sitting there, drinking the fragrant coffee with a graceful posture. She was wearing a dark red suit jacket and a white sweater. Chapter 243. "You're here." Yang Jiu heard the footsteps and stood up with a smile. "I had a little trouble, but I'm not late." Yang Cheng smiled and sat down. Yang Jiu didn't ask any more questions and asked, "What would you like to drink?" "Anything," Yang Cheng said. Yang Jiu suggested, "There is milk here that can't be found anywhere else. Would you like a cup?" Yang Cheng was stunned. "Is there really milk? Although it's a little expensive, you save Xiao Yi. It's not a problem to buy you a cup of coffee." Yang Jiu smiled. Yang Cheng waved his hand. "Forget it. I know that kind of coffee, but I probably won't drink it in my life. It's better to make it simple." "Why? Have you drunk it before?" Yang Jiu asked doubtfully. Yang Cheng smiled and said, "Don't you know how no coffee came about? I only know that it is the most expensive coffee in the world. It can reach thousands of dollars per pound. Is there anything special about it?" Yang Jiu asked. Yang Cheng adjusted his sitting posture, nodded, and said with confidence, "You're right. The rarer something is, the more valuable it is. Nouveau is the rarest coffee in existence, and its price can be said to be the gold of coffee. It is produced in Sumatra, Indonesia, and it is a local coffee bean." "You seem to know it very well?" Yang Jiu asked. Yang Cheng smiled easily. "I went there for a while, and a local friend gave me a small bag. I thought it was very fragrant and liked it very much, but after he told me the process of making the coffee, I returned it to him." "What's the process?" "When the coffee berries are ripe, the local farmers will let the only local palm cat into the coffee garden. That cat likes to eat coffee beans. When the cat has diarrhea, the local farmers will look for the palm cat's feces. They will pick out the undigested coffee beans from the feces. These coffee beans are of the highest quality, and the coffee made from them is called no coffee." Yang Cheng explained, "That's why I say that the most expensive and luxurious coffee in the world is actually cat feces. Isn't it ridiculous? Most people are proud of being able to have a sip of it. Maybe I think differently, but I don't like it." As expected, Yang Jiu's expression changed slightly. She covered her mouth and looked at the empty coffee cup. She bitterly smiled and said, "I regret listening to you. Sorry, I didn't know you were drinking it." Yang Cheng smiled embarrassedly. Yang Jiu called the waiter over and got them 2 glasses of orange juice. Only then did they feel better. I heard from Xiao Yi that you're a Harvard master's student from abroad. Looks like you're really knowledgeable, Yang Jiyu said calmly. It's just SOSO. The requirements for a foreign university are actually not high. I can only say that I can graduate just by muddling through. Yang Chung lied through his teeth. Yang Jiyu nodded and said, "You're really modest. But based on the way you dealt with those terrorists the other day, you're not as simple as a foreign returnee. I learned some martial arts in the past and participated in some military training. I might be better than others, but I'm actually dying and was forced to unleash my potential. It's not that bad," Yang Chung answered cautiously. He was thinking about the reason why Yang Jiyu asked him to come out today. Yang Jiyu asked some more about Yang Cheng's experiences abroad. Yang Chung made up a lot of things, and there weren't any flaws. "Yang Chung, you're a very good young man. Our Yuan Yi lacks friends like you. I wonder if you have any family members? Why don't you come to our house together next time?" Yang Jiyu smiled and invited. Yang Chung said without changing his expression, "No need, I'm alone. My adoptive parents have passed away." "Your adoptive parents? And what about your biological parents?" Yang Jiyu stared at Yang Chung with a burning gaze. Yang Chung sighed and said with a faint smile, "I don't know. I was adopted when I was very young. I don't know who my biological parents are." Yang Jiyu's eyes flashed with a strange light as she said with a sad expression, "I'm sorry. It must have been hard for you to be alone for so many years. If it's because I don't have parents, then I don't think so. I'm already used to being alone. It's good like this," Yang Chung said without any expression. Yang Jiyu's face froze, but she still forced a smile and nodded her head. "I see. That's right. It's wrong for parents to abandon such a young child. I don't think they're still in this world," Yang Chung said. Yang Jiyu was stunned. "Why do you say that? If they're still in this world, then it's hard for me to understand why they still have the face to live," Yang Chung said as he picked up the juice and gulped it down. Seeing that Yang Chung stood up, Yang Jiyu anxiously said, "Perhaps your parents have their own difficulties?" "Humph." Yang Chung chuckled, "Perhaps. But it doesn't matter to me anymore. I still have to go to work in the afternoon, so I'll take my leave first." Yang Jiyu wanted to urge him to stay, but Yang Chung had already walked out of the door. She could only helplessly return her seat. Not long after Yang Chung left, a handsome man wearing a suit walked out from another seat that was blocked. He had a deep gaze and a meticulous military temperament. He came to the seat opposite Yang Jiyu, where Yang Chung was originally sitting. Yang Jiyu raised her head and smiled at the man. "Brother, he really looks like you when you were young, whether it's the way he speaks or the way he looks." The man sat with his back straight, his face expressionless. "Jiyu, let's pretend today's matter never happened. Don't get close to him in the future." "Why?" Yang Jiyu asked puzzledly. "Because we abandoned Yang Chung that year. Sister-in-law hasn't been happy ever since she married into our family. Brother, don't you want your family to be complete? He's your and sister-in-law's flesh and blood. There was no news of him in the past, but now he's clearly in front of you and has become so outstanding. Why don't you want to acknowledge him? It's because he's suddenly appeared, and according to what you said, he's become an extraordinary person. That's why we have to pay more attention to him. Our Yang family isn't an ordinary family. This year and next year will be an important time for the transition. Whether it's the family's conduct or the family's conduct, it must be watertight. We can't let our competitors have any chance to take advantage of us. If we suddenly have a son, it will definitely bring about a huge negative impact." The man said solemnly, "Brother, is an official position more important than your own flesh and blood?" Yang Jiyu said agitatedly. "Jiyu, you're the eldest daughter of our Yang family. Don't you even have this bit of propriety? I have to consider the entire family and all those who are under the banner of our Yang family. If we fall, then it will collapse 1,000 miles away. At this time, how can I make another mistake for a mistake that I made more than 20 years ago?" The man said, "Mistake? That's the mistake that Big Brother made. Why should the child bear it?" Yang Jiyu said with tears in her eyes, "Every time I see Yang Cheng's face, it's like seeing Big Brother when you were young. He's more easygoing, humble, and kind than Big Brother. Don't you feel guilty when you see him?" The man took a deep breath and said with a cold expression, "Jiyu, Those who achieve great things don't bother with trifles. Our Yang family has always been strict and upright since the founding of our country. The reason why we can be like this is because the things we've given up are far beyond what others can imagine. You don't need to persuade me anymore. You're not allowed to mention this matter to your sister-in-law. The successor of our Yang family only needs a clean and innocent child. Ha, clean and innocent. Yang Jiu sneered and stood up. Clean and innocent on the surface can only make people feel how dirty their hearts are. Yang Pejuan, I'm really disappointed in you. After saying that, Yang Jiu turned around and was about to leave. Yang Jiu, do you want to rebel? Yang Pejuan said angrily. Yang Jiu stopped abruptly and said without turning her head, Don't worry, I'll pretend that nothing happened. I want to affect Big Brother's great future. This is your sin, and you'll regret it one day. After saying that, Yang Jiu quickly left the coffee shop. Yang Pejuan sat in his seat with a sullen face. His expression kept changing, and his eyes faintly showed all kinds of past events. Time was like a yellowed piece of paper, flipping to 20 years ago. On a snowy night, a military jeep stopped in front of an orphanage in a small town in the north of Huaxia. A couple wrapped in military coats handed a sleeping child of 2 to 3 years old to the arms of an old woman. The child was sleeping soundly. On a windy night, the child was curled up in a fluffy blanket. In the warmth, the sobbing of the young woman could not be heard. After the old woman received a heavy envelope, she smiled flatteringly and hugged the child. Then she turned around and returned to the orphanage. The young couple watched the woman carry their child back to the courtyard. Then they reluctantly got into the car and left in the snowy night with difficulty. In the blink of an eye, more than a year had passed. When the couple came to the orphanage again, they were surprised to find that the remote courtyard had been demolished. There was no news of the children here. They didn't even leave any contact information. It was as if these people had disappeared into thin air. The young woman held her slightly bulging abdomen and leaned into her husband's arms. She cried until she fainted. Yang Chung, who was walking out of the coffee shop and heading back to Yulei, was completely unaware of all this. The emotions that Yang Jiu had revealed to him at the end made him feel very uncomfortable. Even though he had experienced so many storms, anything that involved some of the fragmented memories of his childhood would always make it difficult for Yang Chung to calm down. Just as he was walking absent-mindedly, the mobile phone in his pocket vibrated because his pants pocket was torn. Yang Chung took it out and was slightly surprised. It turned out to be Lin Ruoshi calling him. If Lin Ruoshi took the initiative to call him, there must be something to tell him. Yang Chung smiled and picked up the phone. Chapter 244. Darling Ruoshi, could it be that you didn't eat enough for lunch and want to eat some snacks? It's not normal for you to suddenly call me at this time. Yang Chung said jokingly. Lin Ruoshi ignored Yang Cheng's joke and directly said, Accompany me to a place after work today. Where are we going? I'll tell you when the time comes. Lin Ruoshi said. You still know how to be mysterious with your husband? Yang Chung said mischievously. Lin Ruoshi was speechless for a moment. I'm asking if you want to go or not. I'm going. I'll wait for you at your designated parking space after work. Yang Chung knew that the girl was definitely shy again, so his tone was particularly harsh. After returning to Yulei International, he chatted with a few female public relations people in the office for a while and helped Zhao Hongyan and Zhang Kai deal with some groceries. Originally, he wanted to go to the minister's office to take advantage of Lu Mingyu, but he didn't know if this girl was deliberately avoiding him because she was shy. She was in a meeting with several public relations people in the afternoon. When he brought her a cup of coffee, she didn't even glance at him. When it was finally time to get off work, Yang Chung went to the CEO's designated parking space in the underground parking lot. Lin Ruoshi usually parked here. When he came to the side of the red Bentley, Lin Ruoshi was already sitting in the driver's seat. Obviously, she didn't give Yang Chung a chance to drive. After Yang Chung sat, he looked at Lin Ruoshi with an indifferent expression and asked with a smile, Do you want to go on a date like last time? Lin Ruoshi's face reddened slightly. When it came to dates, she would always think of the time when Yang Chung kissed her in Starbucks under the pretense of wiping cream. Subconsciously, she started the car immediately not wanting to talk about this topic with Yangcheng. Yangcheng fastened his seatbelt and looked at the back seat. He found a big cardboard box and asked, "What's that?" Lin Ruoshi, who was driving the car, said faintly, "It's a gift. You'll know later." Yangcheng didn't ask anymore. Even if he did, Lin Ruoshi wouldn't tell him where they were going or what they were going to do. After more than half an hour, Yangcheng was shocked to find that the place Lin Ruoshi drove to was actually the place he had been to before, New Hope Orphanage. It was the same old buildings and the same dense trees. The only difference was the yellowed leaves and the fiery red maple leaves. Previously, he had come with Li Jingjing. At that time, the two of them were still as close as siblings. But now, even when they met, it was as if they were strangers. They had nothing to say to each other. While Yangcheng was sighing with emotion, Lin Ruoshi stopped the car and said to Yangcheng, "Help me move the box. Let's go in." "Did you come here to give gifts to the children?" Yangcheng was puzzled. "It's getting cold soon. If we continue like this, it might snow. I'm going to give the children some new thermal underwear," Lin Ruoshi said. Yangcheng looked at her in surprise. He didn't dare to believe it. Lin Ruoshi felt uncomfortable under Yangcheng's gaze. She frowned and said, "What? I can't give gifts to the children." "No, I always thought that you were so cold to everyone. I didn't expect that you would think of the children in the orphanage. It turns out that our family's Ruoshi is a kind big sister," Yangcheng said with a warm smile. Lin Ruoshi looked bashful. She rolled her eyes at Yangcheng. "Hurry up. What are you nagging about? Do I have to move it? Call me good brother, and I'll move it for you," Yangcheng said. Without waiting for Lin Ruoshi to flip out, Yangcheng immediately chuckled and got off the car. He opened the back door and took out the box. It was quite heavy. It seemed that he had put a lot of underwear inside. Following Lin Ruoshi, who was fuming, he walked into the orphanage. Hearing the commotion, Principal Cha came out to welcome them. Seeing Lin Ruoshi and Yangcheng, he revealed a happy and confused expression. "Ruoshi, you're here. Mr. Long time no see." Principal Cha smiled and greeted them. After Lin Ruoshi greeted the old Principal Cha, she asked curiously, "Principal, do you know Yangcheng?" "Oh, Mr. Yangcheng came here not long ago." Principal Cha only said that Yangcheng came here before, but didn't mention that Li Jingjing came with him. It could be said that he was old and experienced. He knew that it was better not to say such things. After all, it could be related to other people's privacy. Lin Ruoshi looked at Yangcheng in disbelief and said, "At least you're sympathetic." Then she walked inside. Yangcheng smiled helplessly and winked at Principal Cha. "Thank you, Principal Cha. You really know how to talk." Mr. Yang, it's better for a man to know his limits. I see that you're a good person, so I can only help you a little. However, you might have to bear some responsibility later." Principal Cha smiled mysteriously and followed him into the courtyard. Yangcheng thought about what Principal Cha meant and followed him into the courtyard. From afar, he could hear the children's laughter. When he walked closer to take a look, Yangcheng's scalp went numb. He saw a group of children surrounding two young ladies and calling out, "Big sister." They were begging the two ladies to tell them stories and play games with them. One of them was Lin Ruoshi. However, at this moment, Lin Ruoshi wasn't as cold as usual. Instead, she was smiling brightly and was as gentle and beautiful as the sun in spring. The other person was none other than Li Jingjing. Li Jingjing was wearing a light pink vest. Her hair was tied up in a ponytail, and she wore light makeup. Although she wasn't as beautiful as Lin Ruoshi, her gentle aura made it easier for the children to get close to her. When Li Jingjing saw Yangcheng carrying a big box into the courtyard, her gaze froze and she pursed her lips. However, she didn't show any changes and acted as if she didn't know him. Lin Ruoshi didn't notice anything strange and ordered Yangcheng, "Put the box there. I'll give it to the children." "Big Sister Ruoshi, are these gifts for us?" a cute girl with a ponytail asked. "Yes, they're new clothes. Xiaoing will feel warm in winter after wearing them." Lin Ruoshi pinched the little girl's face and was actually able to call out the child's name. Li Jingjing seemed to come back to her senses. She smiled and stroked the heads of the two children beside her. "Big Sister Ruoshi, is that person brother-in-law?" Lin Roashi's expression was slightly unnatural, as if it was difficult for her to speak. However, she still nodded. Yes, I can't stand you always bothering me. Today, I brought him here to meet you. His name is Yang Chung. I heard that he came here once before. However, looking at his carefree appearance, I find it hard to believe. Li Jingjing's eyes revealed a trace of sadness. She forced a smile and said, he looks quite reliable. How can he be carefree? When Lin Ruoshi heard Li Jingjing's praise, she faintly smiled and turned to Yang Chung. Yang Chung, she's called Li Jingjing. She's a good friend that I met here. Today, I mainly brought you here to meet her. She has always been curious about what you look like. Yang Chung bitterly smiled in his heart. Li Jingjing had clearly chosen to pretend that she didn't know him. He naturally wouldn't mindlessly let Lin Ruoshi see that something was wrong. His expression didn't change as he said, it seems that your good friend has better taste than you, Ruoshi. She can see that I am a good and reliable man with one look. Don't talk nonsense in front of the children. You should stand further away. Lin Ruoshi said with dissatisfaction. Li Jingjing looked at the simple exchange between the two. There was a bit of envy in her eyes. However, she didn't let Lin Ruoshi notice. Yang Chung shrugged and didn't say anything. He knew that if he talked to Lin Ruoshi more, Li Jingjing would definitely feel more uncomfortable. Yang Chung suddenly felt a bit of regret. If he knew that Li Jingjing was here, he wouldn't have come. The group of children looked at Yang Chung and seemed to recognize him. However, after all, the last time Yang Chung came, he didn't have much contact with the children. After this period of time, they didn't remember much. Moreover, with Lin Ruoshi and Li Jingjing present, they chose to ignore Yang Chung. This saved Yang Chung some trouble. Soon, Lin Ruoshi and Li Jingjing were talking and laughing as they gave the children new clothes. Yang Chung stood at a corner and watched from afar. Many thoughts ran through his mind. President Cha slowly walked to Yang Cheng's side and said with a smile, Mr. Yang, something seems to have happened between you and that child, Jingjing. I'm old, so I have to be thick-skinned and say some things. Since Mr. Yang already married such a beautiful wife like Ruoshi, it's better for you to restrain yourself. Otherwise, you'll be too greedy. Yang Cheng nodded. Yeah, I also think that I'm greedy sometimes. However, I've already promised Jingjing's parents that I won't interfere with her life. That's not a bad outcome. President Cha nodded and said, however, I really didn't expect Ruoshi's husband to be Mr. Yang. Yang Cheng asked curiously, President, my wife seems to be very familiar with this place. She even knows the children's names. Does she come here often? Yeah. Didn't Ruoshi mention this to Mr. Yang? President Cha was puzzled and said with a smile, I thought that Ruoshi would at least tell her family about this place. This child, Ruoshi often came here with her grandmother and mother when she was young. Later on, the old madam and madam passed away. Ruoshi came here alone. She really likes the children here and often gives them gifts. During festivals, she would come here to play games with the children and tell them stories when she's free. The children liked her very much, and so did I. In this world, there are too few people like her who have a good family background, love, and treat these poor children with sincerity. Some people donate money just to gain popularity in society. They're afraid that others don't know about it. Ruoshi has done so much for the children here, but she has never advertised anything. I know that she's the CEO of Ulay International. It's really rare to see someone like her who does good deeds silently. Yang Cheng finally understood why Lin Ruoshi always went out to do things for no reason. She didn't socialize and didn't have any relatives. He couldn't figure out why she wore flat shoes and why she went out. It turned out that she was going to the orphanage to look after the children. So, when Li Jingjing told him that she met a beautiful sister, they became good friends. That person was actually Lin Ruoshi. Just as Yang Chung solved his doubts, Lin Ruoshi, who had finished giving out clothes to the children, shouted to Yang Chung, Yang Chung, I'm not going home for dinner today. I've already called Mother Wang. If you don't want to wait, you could take a taxi back first. At this moment, Lin Ruoshi was surrounded by a bunch of laughing children. She couldn't easily get away, so naturally, she couldn't care about Yang Chung. Yang Chung felt that this scene was amusing and smiled. Then, you can play with the children. I'll be leaving first. He didn't want to stay any longer because Li Jingjing would occasionally look at him with a faint gaze. Although it was only for a short moment, Yang Chung didn't feel good in his heart. After Yang Chung said goodbye to President Cha, he walked out of the courtyard alone. Li Jingjing silently looked at Yang Cheng's back as he left. Her face became paler, but there was a trace of determination in her eyes. However, Lin Ruoshi, who was immersed in the joy of playing with the children, didn't notice. Chapter 245. After Yang Chung left, Lin Ruoshi and Li Jingjing played with the children for almost an hour before the children were urged by Principal Cha to eat. Lin Ruoshi and Li Jingjing were finally able to leave. Although they were reluctant, they were girls after all, and their physical strength was about the same. After saying goodbye to Principal Cha, they left the orphanage together. Walking out of the courtyard, Lin Ruoshi said to Li Jingjing, "Jingjing, I'll send you back. It's getting dark." Li Jingjing smiled and shook her head. "No need, Sister Ruoshi. It's only a short distance for me to walk back. You'll be home much later than me, so you should drive home first." Lin Ruoshi also knew that Li Jingjing's rented house wasn't far, so she nodded and said, "Do you want to have dinner together? I bought some ingredients yesterday and haven't finished cooking. Let's go back and eat." "Sister Ruoshi, why don't you come over to my place and have a seat? My cooking skills are pretty good," Li Jingjing suggested. Lin Ruoshi's eyes flashed a glimmer of light. "Jingjing, are you good at cooking?" "Yes, what's wrong? Can you teach me? I can pay for the ingredients," Lin Ruoshi said. Li Jingjing doubtfully said, "Sister Ruoshi, didn't you say that your mother Wang is good at cooking?" "Yes, but I'm afraid of being seen by that annoying guy," Lin Ruoshi said embarrassedly. Li Jingjing lowered her head and was silent for a while, then said, "Okay, but Sister Ruoshi, if you learn how to cook next time, you must let me go to your house to eat a few times. Just treat it as a thank you gift to your little master." Lin Ruoshi happily nodded. "Of course, but you have to teach me. I really don't know how to cook at all." "Then it's a deal." Li Jingjing stretched out her little finger. Lin Ruoshi smiled sweetly and made a pinky promise with her. The two of them laughed like little girls. At the same time, Yang Chung, who didn't go home for dinner, was wandering around the deserted streets of Dongqing District. After meeting Yang Jiyu and Li Jingjing for the whole day, he felt as if there was a stone pressing on his heart. He didn't have much of an appetite. After saying goodbye to Mother Wang, he wandered around the city on foot. Since he was not in a good mood, Yang Chung was too lazy to go to the annoying night market. He chose an old street with the least amount of people. It was the place where some old residents of Zhonghai stayed. At night, there were only a few residents going in and out. The cold wind of the night poured into his collar, but Yang Chung didn't care at all. He walked alone on the dimly lit street. If one didn't look closely, they would think he was a tramp. Just when Yang Cheng's mind was empty, the phone in his pocket vibrated. Yang Chung took it out and saw that it was a call from Mo Qianni. After returning from Sichuan province, this workaholic like Lin Ruoshi rarely contacted him. Although they were clingy and private, when they bumped into each other in the company, she pretended not to see him. This made Yang Chung smile bitterly. Picking up the phone, Mo Qianni's sweet voice came through. "Sweetheart, where are you?" This woman was acting coquettishly again. Yang Chung smiled and leaned against a pole on the side of the road. He took a deep breath of the cold air. "In your heart." Mo Qianni didn't say anything for a long time on the other end of the phone. Finally, she burst into laughter. "What should I do? You make me have the urge to sacrifice myself." Yang Cheng's eyes lit up. "Really? Then don't be impulsive. Put into practice. Then if you say a few more words that make me impulsive, I will put it into practice," Mo Qianni said unwillingly. "Grand Aunt, these words can only be said when love is strong. You want me to say it out loud? How can I say it out loud?" Yang Chung said dejectedly. Mo Qianni giggled. "I won't joke with you anymore. I have something serious to ask you." "How can this be a joke?" Yang Chung gloomily thought. "What is it?" "It's almost the end of the year. Where are you going for the company's year-end trip?" Mo Qianni asked. Yang Chung thought for a moment and said, "Last time the public relations department helped me sign up, I remember it's Japan. What's wrong? Mo Chinny sighed in a low voice. The people from the Ministry of Finance are all in the country. I can't go with you. What a pity. Yang Chung smiled. It was actually because of this matter. Why? Are you happy that no one is controlling you and you can go and provoke Japanese women? Mo Chinny heard Yang Cheng smile and immediately said in an unhappy tone, What are you thinking? Am I that thirsty? Yes. Mo Chinny said with certainty. Yang Chen almost choked. He couldn't say a word. Seeing Yang Chung not saying anything, Mo Chinny faintly said, Actually, it's none of my business if you want to provoke them. In any case, they're both mistresses. Reaching out is just asking for trouble. I was just casually saying it. If you really provoke them, you can only swallow your anger. Yang Cheng's nerves tensed up. He smiled and comforted her. How can you say that? It's my honor to be controlled by little Qian. I'm happy in my heart. Really? Fake. Yang Cheng thought in his heart and said, Of course it's true. Why would I lie to you? After chatting with Mo Chinny for a long time, he finally made her happy and hung up the phone. Yang Chung felt that it was tiring to deal with women. He did not feel hungry just now, but his stomach was rumbling after the phone call. He looked around and saw that most of the shops were closed. There were only a few small restaurants that looked dirty and uncomfortable. After walking for a while, Yang Chun found a food stall with a trolley at the intersection of a street corner. Yang Chung often went to this kind of spicy and fried food cart stall in the past. Although it wasn't very hygienic, it was cheap and there were a lot of varieties that Yang Chung liked. There was no one in front of the cart stall. There were 3 plastic stools and a box of liquor of unknown brand. It was a good choice to eat snacks and drink liquor on a cold day. Sir, what would you like to order? The voice of the stall owner was very clear. It was actually a young girl. Yang Chung pulled a stool and sat down. He did not notice at first, but when he looked up, he almost laughed out loud. Why is it you, little sister? The girl in front of him was the girl who pickpocketed on the bus during the day. He did not expect that she would set up a food cart stall here. It seemed that the barrel of oil during the day was indeed used by her for business. When the girl saw Yang Chung, she was also stunned for a moment. Then she asked warily, Uncle, are you following me? Why would I follow you? To send you to the police station? If I did, I would have caught you on the bus during the day. I was just walking around and was hungry. I did not expect to meet you. As Yang Chung spoke, he took out a string of spicy kelp and took a bite. It tastes good. Since we are friends, can you give me a discount? I also brought a string of 1 piece, the girl said ruthlessly. You child, you can't be so stingy when doing business. Give me a discount when you should. Yang Chung said with a smile. I said I'm not a child. Uncle, if you want to eat, then eat. Don't grumble. If you don't want to eat, then leave. Leave the kelp money. The girl said unhappily. Yang Chun felt that this girl was rather interesting. She was born tender and fair, making her look petite and adorable. But when she spoke, the expression on her face made her look like a little chili pepper. Especially when she stared at him with her big black eyes, it made him feel happy. Okay, I will eat. I'm giving you money, but your attitude is so bad. Yang Chen sighed and took out a small bottle of white wine from the liquor box beside him. Casually, he took a plastic cup and poured himself a glass. Liquor is $5 a bottle, the girl said again. Yang Chung smiled and shook his head. He took out a few skewers of other snacks. As Yang Chung took them, the girl quoted the price. After eating a dozen skewers, Yang Chung also drank 2 mouthfuls of the spicy liquor. His stomach felt warm. He saw the girl stir-frying some red and white food on a metal plate. There seemed to be some spicy sauce and vegetables. A sour and spicy smell wafted over. He asked curiously, What are you stir-frying? The girl did not even raise her head and said, Fried rice cake. I have eaten fried rice cake before. I have never seen something like this. Yang Chung was puzzled. This is a Korean-style fried rice cake. My mother taught me how to make it. She added kimchi and Korean spicy sauce. The girl said. Yang Chung smiled. Could it be that your mother is Korean? The girl raised her head. Her brows arched and her eyes filled with impatience. Uncle, you talk too much. Can't my mother be Korean? Yang Chung smiled and waved his hand. That's not what I meant. I was just talking about you. You don't look like a Hua person. Your temperament is also different. So you're a mixed blood Korean. Mixed blood? Temperament? Uncle, you really know how to talk. Don't Hua people like to call Koreans Bangzi? What temperament could they have? The girl laughed. You can't be so harsh. At least I know that Koreans respect their elders. I say, little sister, why are you so fierce to me? Yang Chung smiled and asked. The girl fiercely stared at Yang Chung. I will say for the last time, I am not a little sister. I am 20 years old. Okay. Can I call you miss? Yang Chung said with a bitter smile. Do you think I'm a prostitute? I don't have money and I am poor, but I will not sell my body. Then what should I call you? Yang Chung said helplessly. The girl let out a long sigh. She seemed to be annoyed by Yang Chung. My name is Su Jinxiu. You can call me Ashio. Ashio? No, not cute enough. I will call you Jinxiu. This name is quite Korean. Did your mother give you that name? And my name is Yang Chung. You can call me Uncle or Yang Chung. Yang Chung said with a smile. Jinxiu's mouth suddenly twitched. She seemed to want to laugh, but didn't. Uncle, did I ask what your name is? Why are you so eager and proactive? Don't think that I don't know anything. I have seen many men like you. Are you trying to pick me up? Let me tell you, I'm very busy now. I don't have time to date an uncle who has nothing better to do. If you want to eat, then hurry up and leave. Don't disturb my business. This girl was really direct. Although she was very beautiful, Yang Chung really did not have any thoughts about her. He disliked the atmosphere of talking to her. So Shan Shan said with a smile, Jinxiu, I am very free, but I really don't have any thoughts about you. I'm just in a bad mood today. I don't know why I feel comfortable talking to you. I will not disturb you. You can continue. Jinxiu seemed to have no way to deal with Yang Chung. She sighed and shook her head. Just as she was about to continue processing her Korean rice cake, she suddenly frowned. She looked behind Yang Chung. Chapter 246. Vroom, vroom, vroom. The engines of the modified motorcycles roared as 3 motorcycles with their headlights on approached the cart stall from afar. On each motorcycle was a rider wearing a black trench coat and a helmet. 2 of the riders lifted the front wheels of their motorcycles and began to spin in circles with only the rear wheels on the ground. The other rider landed on the ground with its front wheels and swung its tail like a dragon. If a young person who liked thrills were to pass by here, he would definitely exclaim in surprise. Yang Chung did not notice before, but following Jinxiu's gaze, he saw that it was actually the 3 motorcycle gangs that gave the Zhonghai police a headache. Jinxiu's expression was somewhat dignified as she suddenly took off her white gloves that were convenient for cooking and said to Yang Chung, Uncle, if something happens, you hide behind the cart and don't do anything stupid. Why? Are they looking for you? Yang Chung asked doubtfully. Don't ask anymore. In short, do as I say. Otherwise, don't blame me for not warning you if you get hurt. Jinxiu said very cleanly, without waiting for Yang Chung to ask anything. Jinxiu walked forward and came to the side of the road to face the 3 riders. The 3 riders stopped their motorcycles and took off their helmets, revealing 3 young but arrogant faces. They were all wearing earrings and had avant-garde hairstyles. The leading man had long hair and a sparse beard. He looked somewhat rough and handsome, but there was a black shark tattooed on his neck. It opened its bloody mouth, making people feel a sense of hostility. Yang Chung was intrigued and curious at the same time. He drank while watching the confrontation between Jinxiu and the 3 people. Jinxiu, it's really not easy to find you, the man said with an evil smile. Shark, I've already said many times that I have already quit and have nothing to do with you. Why don't you let me go? Jinxiu's face was cold and firm as she said. Shark snorted and laughed. Quit? Su Jinxiu, once you enter this line of work, you can forget about leaving unscathed in this lifetime. What's so bad about working with us? We'll have wine to drink and meat to eat. It's so much better than your crappy midnight snack stall. That's what you think. I just want to be a good person now, Jinxiu said. You want to abandon us brothers and be your people? Su Jinxiu, don't be so naive. Do you think others will believe you? Would the police believe it? Would those fools in society believe it? Who would dare hire you? Other than us, who would dare to be friends with you? Who would dare to trust you? Shark sneered. That's my business. You guys can go. and don't come looking for me in the future. Jinxiu turned around with a hint of sadness in her eyes, but no one saw it. Shark laughed sinisterly. Su Jinxiu, the woman that I, Shark, want has never escaped from my palm. I have already given you enough time. Since you still can't understand, I will help you. After saying that, Shark got back on the motorcycle and started it. He turned the motorcycle around and was actually going to rush towards Jinxiu's cart. Jinxiu's reaction was extremely fast. She appeared next to Shark in a flash. Her two white and slender hands grabbed onto Shark's shoulder and pulled him to the side. Shark's strong body was actually pulled to the ground by Jinxiu. "Brother Shark!" The two bikers shouted and immediately rushed up to fight with Jinxiu. Jinxiu finally had anger in her eyes. She rushed up and started punching and kicking the two. Yang Cheng didn't make a move. He listened to the conversation between Jinxiu and Shark. He more or less understood that Jinxiu should have been a member of the biker gang, or maybe even more than just a biker gang. Now Jinxiu probably wanted to quit, but those people didn't want to let her go. Looking at Jinxiu's fighting posture, it was definitely not something that could be practiced in a year or two. Although there was no technique, she could instinctively react. That was something that only people who had fought countless times could do. Every move was ruthless, and she seized every opportunity. However, Jinxiu was a girl after all. Although her strength was much stronger than ordinary girls, it was still a bit difficult to fight against three men. After Shark got up angrily, Jinxiu continued to fight for several rounds. Finally, she was careless and was kicked in the back by a biker gang member. "Ah!" Jinxiu screamed in pain and fell to Yang Cheng's side. Yang Cheng caught her and held her in his arms. After making sure that she was not seriously injured, he said to the three men in front of him, "Don't lose face. Do you think it's interesting for a man to beat a woman 3-against-1? Who are you? Why are you meddling in other people's business? Get out of the way, or I will stab you," Shark said fiercely. Jinxiu was held in Yang Cheng's arms. She was ashamed and wanted to break free, but she couldn't leave Yang Cheng's arms. Feeling a hot arm around her waist, Jinxiu was so sensitive that she could hear her heartbeat. "Uncle, get out of the way. Don't get involved," Jinxiu shouted anxiously. Yang Cheng stretched out his other hand and touched Jinxiu's white and elastic face. "It's not good for girls to fight. Since you have decided to be a good person, learn to be a girl." Jinxiu was shocked by the sudden, intimate action. For a moment, she was stunned, as if she had forgotten everything around her. Shark's eyes were full of malice. "Jinxiu, is this the new rich guy you found? He doesn't look like much." Jinxiu's eyes were red, and she struggled frantically. She drilled out of Yang Cheng's arms and stood in front of Yang Cheng. "He is just a passing guest. It has nothing to do with me. If you have something to say, just come at me. Today I will take it all. Humph, whether it has anything to do with him or not, it's not up to you to decide. Today, neither of you can escape. Jinxiu, I will let you know that without us, you are nothing." After saying that, Shark and the other two Speeder family members rushed forward. The three of them surrounded Jinxiu step by step. Jinxiu hurriedly turned around, wanting to let Yang Cheng escape. But when she turned around, she found that Yang Cheng was no longer behind her. "Aya!" Hearing two wails, Jinxiu looked back in panic and saw that the two arrogant punks had been thrown to the ground by Yang Cheng. Yang Cheng lightly swept a glance at Shark. Without waiting for Shark to punch, he slapped Shark's face. "Pah!" Shark's body tilted and fell to the ground again. He was confused and dizzy, as if he had fainted. Dealing with these three little guys, Yang Cheng could almost touch them to death with his eyes closed. Jinxiu couldn't react for a moment, as if she couldn't believe that the amiable uncle just a moment ago had suddenly become so fierce and powerful. Suddenly, a few police sirens came from the corner of the street. Two patrol police motorcycles, with their siren lights on, roared as they drove over. Presumably, the nearby residents saw the fight and called the police in panic. Jinxiu's face turned pale, and she pushed Yang Cheng a few times. "Uncle, quickly run. The police are here. It'll be bad if you get caught." "Why run? This isn't our responsibility," Yang Cheng said with a smile. Jinxiu didn't have time to explain to Yang Cheng. She couldn't push Yang Cheng away, and she couldn't abandon her stall if she ran away. Moreover, Yang Cheng helped her, so she felt bad and could only stamp her feet anxiously. When the two patrol police got out of the car, they immediately took out their guns and asked, "What's going on?" Without waiting for Yang Cheng and Jinxiu to speak, the two delinquents on the ground shouted, "Brother police, this adulterous couple hit us. Quickly arrest them." "No, they were the ones who started it," Jinxiu quickly explained. The two patrol police frowned and looked at Jinxiu and Yang Cheng, then looked at the three modified motorcycles behind them and sneered, "Don't say anything. All of you go back to the police station." Soon, the patrol police called a van on duty and a tow truck to take Yang Cheng and the other four to the police station. Jinxiu's cart and the three people's motorcycles were all taken away by the police. 10 minutes later, the 5 people were pushed out of the car by the police. Jinxiu saw that Yang Cheng was also taken to the police station, so she felt bad and whispered to Yang Cheng, "I'm sorry." Yang Cheng smiled indifferently. "You don't have to say that. Just don't charge me for dinner." The originally gloomy Jinxiu finally smiled. "Thank you, uncle." In fact, Yang Cheng was also laughing at himself in his heart. Why did he come to the police station again? It seemed that he had a special affinity with the police station when he returned to China. Arriving at the familiar office, many police officers on duty looked at Yang Cheng with strange gazes. Obviously, they were puzzled as to why this fellow was here again. The 3 motorcycle gang members were obviously the focus of attention. Just by looking at their clothes, it was obvious that they were taken to a special interrogation room by the police officers. No matter how arrogant the shark was before, it became obedient after coming to the police station. It seemed that it had suffered before. Yang Cheng and Jinxiu sat opposite the 2 police officers and began the boring questions and answers according to the procedure. At this time, Choi Yun, who was talking to a few police officers and walking back to the office, saw Yang Cheng. Seeing that Yang Cheng was being interrogated with another girl she didn't know, she frowned and asked the others to go to work first. She walked up and asked with concern, "Yang Cheng, what happened to you?" When Yang Cheng saw Choi Yun, he was a little embarrassed. He smiled softly and told her what had just happened. When Jinxiu saw Choi Yun, it was like a mouse seeing a cat. She lowered her head so much that it almost touched her chest. Seeing Yang Cheng and Choi Yun chatting easily, she was slightly surprised. After listening, Choi Yun suddenly smiled and patted Jinxiu's shoulder. "Jinxiu, this is the 4th time you've come here." Jinxiu pouted and didn't dare to look at Choi Yun. Her eyes were a little wet, and she said faintly, "Bureau Chief Kai, I didn't mean it, the 4th time?" Yang Chun was stunned. It seemed like this girl wasn't easy to deal with either. When Jinxiu saw the surprised look on Yang Cheng's face, she only thought that Yang Cheng was disgusted with her. Her face became even more gloomy, and she drooped her head listlessly. When Choi Yun saw this, she looked at Yang Cheng with a strange look. She leaned close to Yang Cheng's ear and said, "Yang Cheng, why don't you let go of a little girl like Jinxiu? She just turned 18. Didn't she say she was 20? So it was a false age." Yang Cheng smiled bitterly and said, "What are you talking about? I just met her today." Jinxiu thought that Yang Cheng wanted to disassociate himself from her. Her heart ached, but she immediately echoed, "Bureau Chief Kai, Uncle is a customer who passed by my stall. He has nothing to do with this matter. Please let Uncle go back." Yang Cheng and Choi Yun were stunned. They didn't expect that Jinxiu still wanted to let Yang Cheng get away quickly at this time. Looking at Jinxiu's sincere and worried look, Choi Yun didn't believe Yang Cheng's words at all. She sighed and looked at Yang Cheng with dissatisfaction. Yang Cheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This time, he couldn't clear his name even if he jumped into the Yellow River. Chapter 247. Jinxiu saw that Choi Yun didn't say anything and thought that she wasn't willing to let Yang Cheng go. She turned her head and looked at Yang Cheng with a dejected face. "Uncle, it's my fault. I've harmed you." Yang Cheng bitterly smiled as he reached out and pinched Jinxiu's soft cheeks. "Silly girl, what are you talking about?" Jinxiu was at a loss for what to do. Her cheeks were touched by Yang Cheng, causing her cheeks to turn slightly red. "Choi Yun, Give me some face. This girl's nature isn't bad. Whatever she did in the past, let's write it all off. Let her go today. The main troublemakers were those three fellows. Teach them a good lesson and don't let them provoke Jinxiu again. Yang Cheng said. Choi Yun playfully smiled and said, You also need me to give you face? Isn't that so? You're the bureau chief, and I'm just a commoner. We're not on the same level. Yang Cheng said, I can give you face, but you have to give me other reasons. I don't think that I have to give you face just because you're a commoner. There are commoners everywhere. Do you think I have to give them all face? Choi Yun crossed her arms in front of her chest, causing her full chest to bulge out. Yang Cheng subconsciously glanced at her, coughed twice, and said, All right, no matter what, we're still friends, right? At this point, Yang Cheng could only lower his face and try to get close to her. Choi Yun seemed to be quite happy and nodded. All right, since you've helped me a lot and I know you well, I'll forget about today's matter. Hearing Choi Yun say that she would forget about the matter, Jinxiu, who was still gloomy, seemed to be in a fog and didn't dare to believe it. Jinxiu. Choi Yun turned and said to Jinxiu in a serious tone, Jinxiu, the first time you came here, you were still a girl who wasn't even 18 years old. A burglary, a speeding car, a group brawl. I remember it all. These resumes are not very impressive for a girl of your age. Today, Yangqing helped you. I believe that you have the determination to repent and turn over a new leaf. That's why I'm making an exception for you this time. Don't think that it's that simple. If you don't perform well in the future and I see you here again, I'll definitely punish you more severely. Jinxiu bit her thin lips, and her big watery eyes were full of tears. She stood up and bowed to Choi Yun 3 times in a row gratefully. Director Kai, thank you. I will definitely be a good person. I will never do anything illegal again. Choi Yun smiled and touched Jinxiu's hair. If you want to thank someone, thank the uncle who always causes trouble. You heard it just now. I'm buying his account. Hearing that, Jinxiu smiled through her tears and looked at Yang Cheng with a different kind of warmth. With Choi Yun's help, everything was naturally over. Yang Cheng felt that it was not bad to have a friend with a high position, although this person had always brought him a lot of trouble. After everything was settled, Choi Yun helped Jinxiu find a small cart. Jinxiu was grateful again. In the process of handling the matter, Yang Cheng had nothing to do, so he asked Choi Yun about Jinxiu's past. Choi Yun briefly told Yang Cheng about Jinxiu's background, which was what he knew when he dealt with Jinxiu's case in the past. It turned out that Jinxiu's mother was Korean, and her father was a businessman from Huaxia. After they got married, they unexpectedly made a mistake in investing and went bankrupt. Then, they left Jinxiu and her mother behind. Jinxiu's mother died of uterine cancer when Jinxiu was very young. Jinxiu grew up in an orphanage. After being bullied, she was forced to go on a crooked path. She was repeatedly sent to the police station to be criticized and educated. Only then did she slowly get better. Choi Yun talked about Jinxiu's past. It was not known if Jinxiu was listening. She was going through the procedures with several police officers and did not seem to care. When the matter was over, Choi Yun sent the 2 of them out of the police station. At this time, Jinxiu blushed and pulled Yang Cheng's hand. She wanted to say something, but stopped. Yang Cheng felt that it was a little interesting. This little hot pepper seemed to have become a good girl. She had to think twice before speaking. Say it. What's the matter, girl? Yang Cheng asked. Jinxiu gritted her teeth and pulled Yang Cheng to a corner to avoid the sight of Choi Yun and the other police officers. She took off a pendant with a red string from her neck. It was a metal ornament that looked a little old. It was crescent-shaped and reflected a soft light under the faint light. Jinxiu stuffed the crescent-shaped pendant into Yang Cheng's hand. There was shyness, determination, and joy in her sparkling eyes. Uncle, this is for you. What is it? Yang Cheng asked with an evil smile. It can't be a token of love, right? Miss Jinxiu, I'm actually married. You're tempting me to cheat. Jinxiu made a cute face and bared her teeth. What are you talking about? Who's in love with you? This was left to me by my mother. She said it's an amulet. I'm giving it to you now. Yang Cheng put away his joking expression and said with a smile, How can I accept such a precious thing? Uncle is the first person who is willing to come forward to protect me and make me feel like I'm being treated well. I used to think that it was this amulet that protected me. Now, I feel that as long as I have Uncle, I don't have to be afraid. Jinxiu said seriously. Silly girl, I can't hang it on your chest. How can I be an amulet? Yang Cheng touched Jinxiu's head. He did such a simple thing, but it made Jinxiu feel so much. Being treated well? Could it be that the treatment she received in the past was inhuman? Jinxiu pouted. As long as I think of Uncle, Uncle can protect me. Uncle, take it. Let Jinxiu feel that Uncle will remember me. A trace of warmth flowed through Yang Cheng's heart. He took the crescent moon pendant. Well, I'll keep it for you. But you have to leave your contact information. I don't want to not see you in the future. I want to see if you do anything bad. Jinxiu's eyes lit up, and then she said gloomily, I don't have a contact number. How about this? I'll set up a stall near the street where I set up my stall today to sell breakfast and supper. If Uncle has time, you can go there to find me. I'll be obedient. At that time, you won't haggle with me about the fees, right? Yang Cheng pretended to ask. Jinxiu giggled and said, If Uncle brings sister-in-law to see me, I'll give Uncle a discount. But Uncle, do you really have a wife? Can this be used to deceive people? Yang Cheng said with a smile. Jinxiu said in a low voice, Oh. She didn't show any expression. Then Uncle, if you come with sister-in-law, I'll give you a discount. 5% off. How about it? I'm very generous, right? Miser. Yang Cheng poked Jinxiu's forehead, which made her pout coquettishly. Yang Cheng felt very comfortable in his heart. He thought it was not bad. Perhaps it was because he knew that Jinxiu was also an orphan with a dark past. Yang Cheng had a special feeling of love, and he really didn't want to see her again. After Jinxiu gave the gift, she left reluctantly. Yang Cheng could still feel that after the cold shell like an umbrella melted, Jinxiu was really just an 18-year-old cute girl. Looking at the pendant in his hand that was still exuding Jinxiu's natural body fragrance, Yang Cheng was a little surprised. He didn't notice it before, but when he looked carefully, it turned out to be a platinum crescent moon. But knowing that Jinxiu's parents used to be merchants, it made sense. At this time, only Choi Yun and Yang Cheng were left at the entrance of the police station. Choi Yun coughed a little mischievously. Uncle Yang, it seems that another little sister has taken a bait. How do you feel? Yang Cheng carefully put away the pendant and smiled helplessly. Choi Yun, you can't say that. Although I'm not a good person, I really don't have any ideas about Jinxiu. Don't tell me that you only feel like siblings with her. Choi Yun squinted and said. This. Yang Cheng thought for a while. It seems so. If she was my sister, I would quite like it. Who would believe you? Choi Yun muttered and suddenly took out a black box from behind her and put it in front of Yang Cheng. Here, this is for you. Seeing that Choi Yun suddenly took out a treasure like Doraemon, Yang Cheng was slightly stunned. What is it? Take it and you'll know. Choi Yun looked a little unnatural and said vaguely. Yang Cheng cautiously took the box and felt that it was heavy. He opened it and was suddenly speechless. Inside the box, on a pale golden gauze, was an exquisitely made Rolex watch. It wasn't a priceless item, but it was still a fine product with a lot of gold and a certain amount of broken diamonds, so it wasn't cheap. Choi Yun saw that Yang Cheng was looking at the watch and didn't speak. She asked a little nervously, Do you like it? Yang Cheng raised his head and looked at Choi Yun inexplicably. For me? Don't tell me I bought it for myself. It's for a man. Choi Yun put both her hands in her jacket pockets, lowered her head, and played with her toes unnaturally. She was obviously not calm. Yang Cheng closed the box and smiled. Thank you, but I can't accept it. It's too expensive. It's just a watch. What's so expensive about it? I saw that you saved me last time, so I wanted to thank you. I saw that you've never worn a watch before, so I wanted to buy you one, Choi Yun hurriedly explained. Yang Cheng shook his head. You can't just give a watch to me. Since you gave it to me, I have to wear it, but if I wear it, people will always ask who gave it to me. We're just ordinary friends. This will cause misunderstandings. Choi Yun's face paled. Do you think it's embarrassing? Do you think it's embarrassing that I gave you a watch? Yang Cheng frowned. You know that's not what I meant. It's just that it's not appropriate. I knew it. Choi Yun's eyes were slightly moist. You say that we're friends, but you still hate me in your heart. You think that I'm stupid. You think that I'm useless. You think that I'm not worthy of being your friend. And I'm not worthy of giving you a gift, right? Yang Chung smiled bitterly. What was this? Choi Yun, I really didn't think too much about it. I can't accept this watch. It's not an ordinary gift. I don't have any other intentions. Yang Chung didn't know how to explain. Give it to me. Choi Yun snatched back the watch box, angrily glared at Yang Chung, turned around, and walked away quickly. As she walked, she muttered, "Damn Yang Chung, stinky Yang Chung. This is the first time this young miss has given a gift to a man, and you dare to refuse. Next time I see you, I'll catch you. Damn Yang Chung, stinky Yang Chung." Yang Chung saw that Choi Yun had left, and he sighed with bitterness in his mouth. Other women could be more relaxed, but Choi Yun definitely couldn't. She was Lin Ruashi's best friend. His relationship with Mo Chinny was already very difficult. If Choi Yun was involved, then Lin Ruashi would probably die of anger. Moreover, he didn't have any feelings for Choi Yun, so it was better to break it off. Chapter 248. After so many things had happened throughout the day, Yang Chung felt quite fulfilled when he returned home. In the dead of the night, Lin Ruashi and Mother Wong had already gone to bed. Yang Chung took a shower and turned on his computer in his room. He had arranged to meet Sauron that night. After entering the long string of complex and untraceable URL, the video chat box popped up again. As expected, the video was already flashing. However, what surprised Yang Chung was that there were actually two flashing signals. Other than the blue eagle, there was also a picture of a red pirate ship flashing. The corners of Yang Chin's lips curled into a smile as he clicked on the two videos. The avatars of two men appeared on the computer screen. Other than the red-haired Sauron, who was wearing a military uniform, the other man was wearing a white nightgown. He looked to be in his 40s or 50s. His mustache was curled up, and his yellowish-brown hair was very sparse, revealing a large portion of his bald head. He wore a black eye patch, and was also smiling at Yang Chung with goodwill. However, even if these two men were smiling, most people wouldn't think that they were very kind. "Your Majesty Pluto, Maekdon sends his regards." The one-eyed Maekdon greeted Yang Chung in fluent Hebrew while holding a steaming cup of unknown beverage. Yang Chung leaned against the headboard and looked at the leisurely guy on the screen. He smiled and said, "Maekdon, it should be noon over there. Are you hungover again?" "Of course not. I'm just experiencing a different time zone," Maekdon said with a grin. The red-haired Sauron snorted in disdain. "Bullsh *T, you vulture. Other than wine in oak barrels, all you think about are those barrel-waisted women. Your Majesty Pluto, I strongly request that you hand over all his intelligence network to me. He's simply wasting the space you've given him. You rude, red-haired eagle. You're just being jealous. My children have the most devout faith and the most steadfast belief. No one can lead them through the waves except me," Maekdon said in English with disdain. Yang Chung advised, "Sauron, you should be used to Macedonia by now, and you should also know that Mossad is the least likely to transfer their faith. No one can replace Macedonia's work. Your Majesty Pluto, I know it's very difficult. That's why I gave him the task of investigating. I just think the old man is getting fatter and fatter, and his hair is getting thinner and thinner," Sauron said unhappily. "Hi, red-haired eagle. Today is the day to report the results to His Majesty Pluto King. Do you want to fight? Do you think my nuclear warhead will be afraid of your pirate ship?" Soren said disdainfully. "Enough. Do you have to quarrel every time you see each other?" Yang Chung stopped the two of them gloomily. Rubbing his forehead, he said, "Sauron, tell me what's the situation." Only then did Soren become more serious. "Your Majesty Pluto King, although you requested to only send the Sea Eagles, who are good at camouflage and communication, to Huaxia, I really can't choose ordinary members. My Sea Eagles have the combat power of the world's top agents. The first group of 12 will arrive at Huaxia's southeast port in Zhonghai tomorrow night." "Very good. Did you give them the method to contact them?" Yang Chung asked. "Yes, but..." Sauron frowned. "But Huaxia's Yellow Flame Iron Brigade has already detected the whereabouts of our frigate. I think we need Your Majesty Pluto King to go and receive them tomorrow night. Although it's rude, it's not like that. I'm worried that our members will be in danger. Oh, please believe me, Your Majesty Pluto King. Yellow Flame Iron Brigade may not be the most secretive defense organization, but they're definitely the most difficult to deal with. Yang Chung smiled. It seemed that the people from the Dragon team didn't give Sauron any trouble. He nodded to show that he understood. He then asked Maekdan, "Maekdan, what about the investigation?" Maekdan picked up a piece of paper from the short mahogany table beside the rocking chair. He looked at it and said, "Your Majesty Pluto King, according to the investigation, the leader of Yamada's sect, Nariko Okawa, is an expert who has reached the peak of Chinin. Preliminary estimates say that he has the combat power of 800 top agents. Of course, due to the variability of Japanese ninjutsu, this is only a conservative estimate. What's worth paying attention to is that Okawa used to be one of the core killers of the original Zero. This also means that he might have a sufficient understanding of Godstone." There was a flash of light in Yang Cheng's eyes. He said expressionlessly, "Although the original Zero no longer exists, there are indeed too many branches. I can't eradicate them all. If Okawa wants to end his own life, it's not a bad thing." Maekdan and Sauron had a solemn look on their faces as they agreed with him. "As for the other investigation, Your Majesty Pluto King, I feel that this job is too easy. The Miss Anshin that you're looking for is currently steadily participating in international flights. Her main flight route is between Tokyo, Japan, and Paris, France. I think it won't be difficult for you to find her," Maekdan said with a meaningful smile. Yang Chung smiled in satisfaction. He only wanted to make sure that Anshin wasn't in trouble. It seemed like she was living a carefree life. "Keep an eye on her surroundings for me to see if there are any abnormalities," Yang Chung said. "It's my pleasure to serve you, Your Majesty Pluto," Maekdan chuckled. Yang Chung thought for a while and decided that there was nothing else. Just as he was about to bid farewell to the two buffoons, Maekdan said, "Your Majesty Pluto King, there's one more thing. Since you're living in Huaxia, and you're in an international coastal city like Zhonghai, I have to remind you." "What is it?" Yang Chung asked doubtfully. "Something that could make this seemingly cynical pirate leader the king of intelligence. Mention it seriously was definitely not a simple matter." Maekdan stopped smiling and said, "According to the information collected by my intelligence network, the Holy Grail has finally appeared, and the location is in Huaxia." Yang Cheng's expression froze for a moment, and then he felt a little ridiculous. "Does that thing really exist?" Maekdan frowned for a while and said, "Legend has it that the cup used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper was filled with his blood after he was crucified. Legend has it that if the Holy Grail is filled with holy water, anyone who drinks it will gain eternal life." "Vulture, how could such a thing exist? Even if it exists, it must be in the Balkans, the Mediterranean, or the Middle East. How could it be in Huaxia in the Far East?" Maekdan snorted and said, "Before you met Your Majesty Pluto King, did you believe in the gods and the legendary Treaty of the Gods?" Soren was stunned, and then he shut his mouth. Yang Chen sighed. "The gods aren't really gods. At the very least, I can't achieve immortality. However, there are indeed some unimaginable things in this world." "Go on, Maekdan." "Yes, Your Excellency. At first, I didn't believe this information because it was too incredible. According to the information, the Holy Grail was actually brought back to Huaxia by the Mongolian cavalry during the Yuan dynasty of Huaxia from a noble's treasure house in the Middle East. After that, it was buried in the cemetery of a noble in Huaxia. Recent archaeological excavations found that cemetery near Zhonghai, and it was found by devout Christians that it was exactly the same as the legendary Holy Grail. That was how the news reached the Vatican," Maekdan said. "How can we determine if the Holy Grail really exists, if that's all?" Yang Chung asked. Maekdan said, "Although we can't know the history of the Holy Grail, the Vatican and its enemies are obviously the most familiar with the Holy Grail." "Are you talking about the Dark Parliament?" Yang Chung said with a bitter smile. Maekdan was obviously stunned. "Your Excellency Pluto, could it be that you've dealt with him before?" I always thought that you didn't know of their existence. Many years ago, I met them when I was carrying out a mission. Those guys aren't as exaggerated as the rumors say, but because of their special bloodline, they have some powerful abilities. Ordinary agents are definitely no match for them. If the Vatican's papal guards and crusaders really treat them as opponents, then the Vatican does indeed have the power to intimidate the European countries. Yang Chung recalled the few encounters he had many years ago, and he couldn't help but feel troubled. If those people came to Huaxia, he would definitely have to step in. Otherwise, those people from a Yellow Flame Iron Brigade would definitely suffer. If they suffered, Huaxia's protection would be gone. If Huaxia's protection weakened, then he wouldn't be able to live comfortably in this country anymore. However, it wouldn't be easy to deal with those guys. As expected of Your Excellency Pluto, my intelligence network can't track their specific movements at all. I only noticed that the Dark Parliament and the Vatican have sent their elites to Huaxia. From this, it can be seen that the Holy Grail isn't just a rumor. Maekdon suddenly grinned. I hope that the Easterners still have enough mysterious power. Otherwise, this might be a battle of great disparity in combat power. If that's really the case, where's the Holy Grail now? Yang Chung asked. If he could throw the Holy Grail into another country, even if it was thrown into the sea, he could avoid a pointless battle. Who could live forever? He didn't care at all. Maekdon said with a bitter smile, I'm very sorry, Your Excellency Pluto. My intelligence network in Huaxia is especially weak. The Yellow Flame Iron Brigade is really hard to deal with. On this point, I have the same opinion as the red-haired eagle. What's the use of being hard to deal with? The traditional method of increasing combat power in Huaxia is destined to be unable to quickly produce powerhouses. This is very different from the mutants in the West. Yang Chung shook his head helplessly. Your information is very useful. I will take note of it. From now on, we have to pay close attention to it. Regardless of whether the Holy Grail is really that magical, the fight for that thing must not break the balance between the various organizations in the world. Your Excellency Pluto, I'm very curious, Maekdon said. What is it? Yang Chung said with a smile. Maekdon hesitated for a while and asked, Your Excellency Pluto, since the gods exist, why can't the other main gods be like you and stand up to restrain the chaotic forces in the world? Wouldn't that be more helpful to the stability of the world? Yang Chung lowered his head and smiled. Do you think I'm willing to stand up? Have you ever seen me voluntarily ask anyone or any force to obey me? Sauron and Maekdon were stunned and then shook their heads. They were all willing. When I took off the ring of Pluto, I asked the previous Pluto this question, Yang Chung said. The previous Pluto? Maekdon and Sauron shouted at the same time. It was obvious that they didn't know about the previous Pluto. Actually, the answer is very simple, but also very complicated. Yang Chung seemed to be talking to himself. He said plainly, if there really is a reason, it would be we, more than anyone else, deeply love this world. Chapter 249. The next morning, just as Yang Chung walked into the PR department with a large pile of breakfast, he saw a group of female PR workers with different makeup gathered together, laughing and discussing something. Yang Chung, who was ignored once again, placed his breakfast on his desk and moved closer to the group of women, causing a few pretty ladies to pout coquettishly. Taking advantage of women so early in the morning, Yang Chung, you're too shameless, a pretty girl said with a red face. Yang Chung chuckled, accidentally rubbing his arm against someone's chest, but he pretended not to know anything. Carefully looking at the surrounded computer, on the screen was a PDF document with the words, Yulei International Entertainment and Culture Company Draft written on it. Puzzled, Yang Chung asked Zhao Hongyan, who was also watching excitedly, Hongyan, what is this? Zhao Hongyan rolled her eyes. Can't you read? This is the establishment draft of a new company. New company? Yeah. Our Yulei only has a model management company, but next month we will officially invest in an entertainment and culture company. I heard that we will sign many famous managers, singers, and actors. Another pretty girl said happily. What does this have to do with you? Yang Chung asked. How is it not our business? If the celebrities I like are signed, Then they will become our colleagues, and the meaning will be completely different. A pretty girl said. Yang Cheng laughed. Isn't it a separate company? Even if they sign them, they will work elsewhere and not in the PR department. Humph. Can't you let us imagine more? That pretty girl said with dissatisfaction. Yang Cheng listened to the group of young female PR workers enthusiastically discussing who to sign, as if they were the ones opening the company, and couldn't help but sigh and shake his head. Zhang Kai was very honest, and when she saw Yang Cheng arrive, she immediately searched for the location of breakfast and ran over to pick up a few buns. As she chewed on them, she chatted with the women. Sure enough, young women's immunity to handsome celebrities was different. Yang Cheng didn't expect Lin Ruoshi to start an entertainment company right after defeating the Su family and Changlin Media and obtaining the future economic benefits of the new material. As far as Yang Cheng knew, this kind of company definitely needed to consume a lot of money. Lin Ruoshi could be considered to have put in a lot of money. However, now that the Su family had been defeated by the Yuan family, they only existed in name, and there were no other companies in the country that could compete with Yulei. It was understandable that Lin Ruoshi wanted to find a new field. With Yulei's reputation in Huaxia and the world's fashion industry, if they invested in an entertainment company, it would be a golden brand. It would be a sure win and no loss. It all depended on how to maximize the profits. Lin Ruoshi was well versed in the fact that entrepreneurs always invested after starting a business and continued to invest after starting a business. Just as the office was bustling with noise, a slender figure walked in from the door and coughed coldly at the group of frolicking female public relations workers. The female public relations workers seemed to have heard the alarm and immediately ran back to their seats. Yang Chun turned around and saw that it was actually Lin Ruoshi's assistant, Wu Yu, who had suddenly arrived. That airport-like figure and ice-cold expression made her stand out from the crowd, no matter how one looked at her. Wu Yu saw that Yang Cheng was very calm with two knives in his hands. She couldn't help but frown. Yang Cheng, come with me. Where? Yang Cheng asked. CEO's office, Wu Yu said coldly. Yang Cheng didn't ask where they were going. He was sure that she wouldn't tell him. Therefore, he chewed on a steamed bun and followed Wu Yu upstairs. When they arrived at the door of Lin Ruoshi's office, Yang Cheng had just finished eating his steamed bun and followed Wu Yu into the office. Yang Cheng was depressed. Couldn't they just talk about it at home? He even made me go to the office and waste my time playing games. When they walked in, Lin Ruoshi was sitting at her big desk and writing something quickly. She looked very serious and didn't even raise her head when they entered. Wu Yu stood respectfully. General Lin, Yang Cheng is here. Lin Ruoshi put a stack of signed documents aside and looked up. She said expressionlessly, "Okay, you can leave." Wu Yu bowed and quietly walked out of the office and closed the door. Lin Ruoshi suddenly stood up and pointed to the sofa beside the floor-to-ceiling window to Yang Cheng. A man and a woman were already sitting there. When the man and woman saw Lin Ruoshi pointing at them, they immediately stood up with a smile and nodded to Yang Cheng in a friendly manner. The man looked to be in his 30s. He had short hair and wore a pair of gold-framed glasses. He looked gentle. The woman was also in her early 30s. She was wearing a pink professional suit and looked elegant. This is Zhao Teng, and this is Wang Jia. From today onwards, they will be your assistants. Lin Ruoshi introduced them directly. Yang Cheng was stunned. He had a bad feeling and asked with a stiff smile, "What do you mean?" "The new Yulei International Entertainment and Culture Company draft. You should have seen it this morning, right?" Lin Ruoshi said. Yang Cheng nodded. "I just glanced at it. This will be the highlight of Yulei for the next few years. We will mainly start with music, TV, and advertising. We will strive to use our superior resources and reputation to build a national and even world-class entertainment and culture company in 5 years," Lin Ruoshi explained. "Oh, that's a good thing. But what does this have to do with them being my assistants, that?" "General Lin, you can't be." Before Yang Cheng could ask, Lin Ruoshi nodded and said, "That's right. You will be the director of this company and be responsible for the main decision-making work of Yulei Entertainment. Zhao Teng and Wang Jia will be your right-hand men as the executive manager and business manager respectively. Yang Cheng wailed in his heart. This was like a bolt from the blue. The last time he went to Hong Kong to negotiate was enough to give him a headache. This time, a company that was still in the process of being built was thrown into his hands. General Lin, it's not that I'm humble, but I really don't know how to do this. Yang Cheng winked, hoping that Lin Ruoshi would be merciful and stop tormenting him. Lin Ruoshi didn't seem to see anything. She smiled and looked at Zhao Teng and Wang Jie. Both of you are veterans in the company and have enough work experience. This time, I will let you two be Yang Cheng's assistants. I hope you can give him some advice and guidance. Although he is capable, he doesn't have enough practical experience. You will have to put in more effort in this aspect. Don't worry, General Lin. Your arrangements must have your reasons. We know what to do, Zhao Teng said humbly. Wang Jie also smiled kindly. Director Yang, you are able to get General Lin's appreciation at such a young age. There must be something extraordinary about you. I hope we can learn from each other in the future and do a good job in the company. Yang Cheng groaned in his heart. What's so special about it? It would be much easier for me to go to the CIA and get rid of their director than to manage an entertainment company. Zhao Teng and Wang Jie obviously had blind admiration for Lin Ruoshi. They would do whatever Lin Ruoshi said. Now I'm in for it. However, Yang Cheng didn't know that Lin Ruoshi didn't just use her prestige in the eyes of the employees. She also told them about Yang Cheng's secret trip to Hong Kong to negotiate with Mian Corporation. Zhao Teng and Wang Jie were both Yulei International's up-and-coming executives that Lin Ruoshi thought highly of. Naturally, they knew how much profit Yulei International would get from the new material technology. They never imagined that such a huge share of profit was actually obtained by the unknown Yang Cheng. In their eyes, Mian Corporation's Li Muhua was undoubtedly a superstar in the business world. If Yang Cheng could get a piece of meat out of Li Muhua's mouth, there was no doubt about his ability. Therefore, at this moment, Yang Cheng's flinching and unwilling expression in their eyes was the humble attitude of a truly capable person. This made them sincerely admire him. If Yang Cheng knew what they were thinking at this moment, he would have spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. After the matter was settled, Zhao Teng and Wang Jie left the office first to prepare for work at the new company that would start next week. Yang Cheng didn't leave. He got closer to Lin Ruoshi and said softly, "My good wife, please let me go. I'm really not interested in being a director." "Why? I don't understand at all. How can I be a director?" Yang Cheng said. Lin Ruoshi said indifferently, "If you don't understand, you can learn. You can even learn so many foreign languages, so it's not a problem for you to do some human resources and administrative management. Moreover, Zhao Teng and Wang Jie can completely take on the responsibility. Normally, you only need to sit in the office and approve some documents and make some big decisions. You don't have to worry about anything else." Yang Cheng smiled bitterly. This was really a good job, but he still shook his head. "I'm still used to working in the PR office. You're talking about playing games?" Lin Ruoshi frowned in dissatisfaction. Hee, Ruoshi baby, you know me very well," Yang Cheng said with a smile. Lin Ruoshi clenched her teeth as if she had made up her mind. "If you don't do as I say and do your job as a director, I'll make your favorite PR colleagues leave the company." "What?" Yang Cheng was shocked. Lin Ruoshi snorted. "Besides, Zhao Hongyan, Lu Mingyu, and Zhang Kai seem to have a good relationship with you. If they're fired because you don't want to be promoted, what do you think the result will be? This girl is really vicious. Do you ever do this? How can you fire people so casually?" Yang Cheng said gloomily. "You should know me. I could do even more vicious things. As long as you can stand in a higher position, I can choose to do anything. Moreover, 90% of Yulei's shares are in my hands now. What can I do?" Lin Ruoshi said coldly. Yang Cheng looked at Lin Ruoshi meaningfully. "You're spending so much effort for my job. Have you decided to follow me for the rest of your life?" Lin Ruoshi's eyes showed a trace of panic, but it was soon covered by indifference. "Make the best use of everything. As for the rest, it depends on your performance." Yang Cheng lowered his head and smiled. When he looked up again, he agreed. "Okay, if you're not afraid of losing money, I'll be the director. Don't worry. I'll pay more attention. You can do whatever you want. Lin Ruashi seemed to have finally relaxed. The new office is in the new office building opposite our Yulei building. I've already bought the top 10 floors. I have a request, Yang Chung said with a smile. Say it. Lin Ruashi was a little uneasy. Can I still work part-time in the PR department? I can't bear to part with the girls. Yang Chung Shanshan said with a smile. Lin Ruashi's eyes showed a trace of disappointment. But to prevent any more problems, she hardened her heart. Okay, I promise you. Except for the director of Yulei Entertainment, I will work part-time in the PR department. Chapter 250. After getting this ridiculous position, Yang Chung returned to the PR department and didn't do anything. He requested that the appointment and dismissal process be handled in a low-key manner and didn't announce it to the entire company. He had made up his mind to let Zhao Teng and Wang Jie handle these matters in the future. He would occasionally go to the office and usually stay in the PR department's big office. After all, there were a bunch of beautiful women here, which was better than sitting in a boring office. Although, with the development of the company, the fact that he was the director would definitely be known by others. If he sat in the PR department's office every day, people would get used to it, and it wouldn't be too special. After work, Yang Chung went home on time for dinner, but he ate much faster than usual. Lin Ruashi saw Yang Chung wolfing down 2 bowls of rice and frowned. Are you hungry after playing games all day long? Yang Chung didn't explain much. I have something urgent to attend to tonight. I won't be back tonight. Don't wait for me. Lin Ruashi heard this and remembered the day she waited for him until midnight. She blushed slightly. Now that she thought about it, the conversation that day was too embarrassing. How could she say something like that? It sounded like a resentful wife. Who's going to wait for you? If you want to leave, then leave, Lin Ruashi said casually. I'll remember what I promised. I'll report what I have to, Yang Chung said sincerely before he left. There were indeed many things to do tonight. Just picking up the 12 Sea Eagles members and settling them down in Zhonghai was not an easy task. Yang Chung drove all the way to the southeast port of Zhonghai. At the same time, he called Xiangwei to prepare a medium-sized bus to be on standby at the intersection of the port. He also arranged for a hidden residence of the Red Thorn Society that could accommodate about 20 people. Xiangwei didn't ask why and immediately took care of these 2 matters. After arriving at the southeast port, Yang Chung parked the car on the vast land surface of the port. At this moment, the port was empty and not a single person could be seen. Under the ink-like sky, Yang Cheng's white BMW was particularly eye-catching. Yang Chung took out his phone and dialed a number. After a long time, the call did not go through. Instead, there was a chaotic mix of voices. Yang Chung frowned. He did not expect himself to be late. It seemed like the Sea Eagles team had been attacked by the Yellow Flame Iron Brigade, and their communication signal had been cut off. He just didn't know if the Sea Eagles had landed yet. After thinking about it carefully, Yang Chung felt that it was unlikely that they hadn't landed yet. If there was a conflict on the sea, then the ships escorting the Sea Eagles would clash with the military's fleet. That would make things worse, and the Yellow Flame Iron Brigade would definitely choose the safer method. Thinking about it, the Sea Eagles should have already landed somewhere at the port, but the situation would not be good. Yang Chung started the car again and drove to the edge of the coastline. He began to search for traces of anyone along the way. After driving for more than 5 minutes, Yang Chung finally found an unusual situation at the end of the southeast port. 3 amphibious armored vehicles surrounded a port container storage area. In the dark of the night, the sharp armored vehicles used their searchlights to illuminate the entire area. No less than 30 soldiers in black Special Forces combat uniforms, armed with heavy firearms, aimed at the pile of containers. 7 or 8 men and women in different uniforms stood in front of the Special Forces. They were obviously the leaders of this armed operation. As soon as Yang Cheng's car entered everyone's field of vision, he was closely watched. Even 2 assault rifles were aimed at Yang Chung. The red laser aiming landed near the fuel tank of Yang Cheng's car. Yang Cheng knew that if he continued to drive forward, his car would definitely be destroyed by the group of people. He wouldn't do such a losing deal. Therefore, when there were still more than 200 meters left, Yang Chung stopped the car. Opening the door, Yang Chung welcomed the bone-chilling winter wind. He took out a low-quality cigarette that he bought on the road and flicked the lighter several times before finally lighting it up. Exhaling a long puff of white smoke, Yang Chung strode toward the group of solemn special forces. As Yang Chung approached, the two special forces aimed their guns at Yang Cheng's forehead. The chilling, murderous aura could be felt from dozens of meters away. On the contrary, Yang Chung was used to this kind of aura. He leisurely walked to a place that was more than 10 meters away from the special forces. The special forces that were wrapped in darkness moved slightly in the middle, revealing a path. The few men and women in different uniforms walked in front of Yang Chung. What made Yang Chung astonished was that among them were Flower Rain and Gray Robe from the group of 8 whom he had met before. The other 7 members were all unfamiliar faces. However, their aura was no weaker than Cannon, Bigfoot, and the other members of Dragon Group that he had met before. Gray Robe saw Yang Chung walking over and smiled warmly. "Pluto, your movements this time are too big. This is making things difficult for us." When Flower Rain saw Yang Chung, her eyes revealed some complicated emotions. However, it was quickly covered up by coldness. "Senior Gray Robe, is he Pluto?" A handsome man who looked to be less than 30 years old and was dressed in a blue military uniform said with a hint of arrogance, "You don't look like much." "Pluto, I'm Yong Yi, the leader of Second Dragon Group. I've heard some things about you, but I'm a little disappointed in you." Yang Chung ignored Yong Yi and said to Gray Robe, "Don't worry. I won't make things difficult for you. They're here to help me settle some personal matters. How about giving me some face and treating you to a meal next time?" Being ignored, Yong Ye's face darkened. "Pluto, don't be too arrogant. We're the ones who have the initiative now. Are you provoking us?" Yang Chung glanced at the group of special forces that were silent and had a murderous aura like statues. He smiled and said, "This must be the water dragon special forces that Huaxia has hidden outside of the 7 military regions. It seems like they've killed many people in the South China Sea. This murderous aura isn't something that could be accumulated in a day or two." "Are you afraid now?" Yong Yi sneered. Gray Robe frowned and glanced at Yong Yi. He sighed and said, "Pluto, let them go. Our Huaxia doesn't allow mercenaries like the Sea Eagles to come ashore." "Senior Gray Robe, what do you mean by that? Are we afraid of them? Can't you see that the so-called Sea Eagles are being locked inside by our water dragon?" Yong Yi said unhappily. Yang Chung took 2 puffs of his cigarette and pinched the butt. "Can't you make an exception?" "No," Yong Yi said quickly. After being ignored continuously, his pride couldn't take it anymore. He was furious. "I don't care if you're Pluto or God. Don't even think about taking these people away. Since they're here, don't even think about going back to the sea." Yang Chung, who had his head lowered, suddenly looked up. In the darkness, his eyes seemed to be dyed with a layer of blood. The chilling aura was like 10,000-year-old ice. When Gray Robe and the others, who were 10 meters away, realized that something was wrong, Yang Chung had already disappeared from where he was standing. "You're annoying." His voice was like the grinding of gears. When Yang Chung appeared again, he had moved to Yong Ye's side without anyone noticing. Yong Ye didn't even have time to react before his neck was grabbed by Yang Cheng's hand. Under the watchful eyes of dozens of pairs of eyes, Yong Yi was subdued with his own strength alone. All of the special forces finally showed signs of loosening up, and the members of Second Dragon Group were shocked to see that their team leader's HP had been inexplicably restricted by a single skill. This man, how did he do it? Yong Yi didn't even dare to swallow his saliva. He could feel that Yang Cheng's aura was darker than the night. It made goosebumps appear all over his body. His body was so cold that it felt like his blood was about to freeze. He could become the team leader of Second Dragon Group, not only because of his background and experience, but also because of his outstanding combat skills. Ordinary top-notch agents definitely couldn't compare to him. But at this moment, all his mental strength and combat skills had turned into powder. In front of this man, he couldn't even withstand a single blow. No one dared to act rashly because they didn't know how strong Yang Chung was. but they were sure that if he wanted to kill Yong Yi, it would only take an instant. I don't care who your father is, who your mother is, or who you are. When I'm talking, you better not interrupt. In my eyes, your strength is like the throat in my hand. As long as I squeeze it lightly, it will be fragile and broken. As soon as Yang Chun finished speaking, he casually threw Yong Yi 7 to 8 meters away. Yong Yi tumbled a few times before stopping. The water dragon troops immediately aimed their guns at Yang Chun, but no one dared to shoot, even if he didn't have any hostages in his hands, even if his body was just inches away. Under everyone's hesitant and unwilling gaze, Yang Chun walked towards the container stacks at the back. In the darkness, this ordinary back view emitted a terrifying pressure that shocked everyone. Gray Robe let out a long sigh. He turned around and looked at Yong Yi, who was lying on the ground with his head down. His eyes were a little disappointed. Then he ordered Water Dragon, "Put away your weapons. Don't aim anymore." Flower Rain turned around and looked at Gray Robe, who seemed to have used up all his strength. There were some complicated emotions in her eyes. At this moment, Yang Chun had already walked in front of a row of huge containers. He looked at the gap in the middle and coughed twice. He smiled and said in English, "Come out. How long do you guys want to watch the show?" Chapter 251. As soon as Yang Chun finished his sentence, a few silhouettes walked out from the small passageway where the containers were stacked. The first to walk out was a middle-aged Caucasian man. He had chestnut-colored curly hair and was about 1.8 meters tall. He looked rather strong and was dressed in a casual leather jacket and dark-colored jeans. He carried a small travel bag in his hand and looked like a foreign tourist in Huaxia. There was no sense of danger from him at all. "Your Majesty Pluto, it's an honor to meet you. My name is Mullen Schlaus, the captain of Sea Eagles Division 3. Mullen's eyes burst with undisguised joy when he saw Yang Chun. Yang Chun shook hands with him. "Mullen, I like your attire this time." Just like Mullen, there were 11 members of different skin colors following closely behind him. There were 8 men and 3 women. There were Black and Asian people, and they were all dressed in casual autumn and winter clothing. Some of them were carrying small suitcases, while others were carrying backpacks. They did not look like elite mercenaries at all. "Your Majesty Pluto, the people of Yellow Flame Iron Brigade are too hospitable. We didn't dare to come out all this time. Luckily, you arrived in time." Mullen spread his hands and laughed along with his teammates. Yang Chun looked at the group of people who were staring at him excitedly. He felt rather emotional. The people sent by Sauron were indeed not bad. Even if he met them on the street, he wouldn't be able to tell that they were mercenaries. "Have you guys had dinner?" Yang Chun asked. A Caucasian woman with a high nose bridge and exquisite facial features said happily in Italian, "Is our idol Pluto going to treat us to dinner?" "Adeline, didn't you eat 3 German meat floss buns already?" Another relatively petite female member giggled and said, "Your diet plan will fail if you keep going like this." "Oh, Fanny, thank you for reminding me. I'll just drink juice then," Adeline said gloomily. Very soon, a group of Sea Eagles members began to talk about a few of Huaxia's famous dishes, asking Yang Chun what he would bring them to eat. They did not care about the group of armed special forces and the few Yellow Flame Iron Brigade members at all, even if they were unarmed. Signaling them to be quiet, Yang Chun bitterly smiled. "I know that you guys are very prideful, but I suggest that you guys don't get too excited if you want to eat the delicacies earlier. They might not have eaten dinner since they came out at night and pointed their guns at you." Mullen chuckled and told his team members to remain silent. Everyone immediately stopped talking. Yang Chun asked them to follow him. When they passed by the Water Dragon troops, everyone watched silently as Yang Chun led the group of people away. Yongyi stood up with a gloomy expression on his face. His eyes were filled with gloom, but he didn't dare to flare up. When Yang Chun left with the 12 Sea Eagles, Yongyi gritted his teeth and asked the man in gray, "Why didn't you stop them? Are you afraid?" "They don't have murderous intent on them," Gray Robe said calmly. "They have hidden murderous intent. They are scarier than the special forces with murderous intent." Yongyi said angrily, "How can we let these 12 people stay in Zhonghai?" Gray Robe looked at him coldly. "Yongyi, your parents are both important figures in the military and the political world. You're also from a prestigious family, but don't think that you are better than others. I'm afraid. That's right. I admit that I can't do anything to Yang Cheng's strength, but aren't you afraid? Yongyi was at a loss for words. Flower Rain said in a clear voice, they didn't bring any weapons into Zhonghai to show us that they are not hostile. We shouldn't act rashly for now. Yongyi looked at the cold and elegant Flower Rain with a strange glow in his eyes. All right, since Ning'er said so, we'll let them go for now. Flower Rain frowned. Yongyi, you better watch your words. This is official business. Ah, okay, Ning. Oh no, Flower Rain, I won't do it next time. Yongye's temper was surprisingly much better. His smile was even a little flattering. A few members of the dragon group looked helpless. Obviously, their leader's unrequited love made them feel sad. 10 minutes later, Yang Cheng called Xiang Wei to prepare a bus to the port and picked up the 12 members. Yang Cheng took the lead and left the port for Zhonghai City. Yang Chen wasn't in the mood to bring a large group of people to some high-end restaurant. He directly parked the car at a roadside stall by the river and brought the group of excited foreigners into the street of roadside stalls. He had eaten here with Emo Chinny a few times before, but it had been a while since he last came here. Although the conditions were a little bad, it was winter and the cold wind was blowing. But because there were many people eating supper, coupled with the fact that there were constantly piping hot dishes, the food stall seemed a little warmer. Molin and the others had never seen such a scene. They were surprised at first, but after eating the coarse but fresh food, they wolfed down the food. When Yang Cheng said that this was Huaxia's most basic restaurant, Molin and the others fell in love with this piece of land. Yang Cheng, who grew up abroad, knew that the food abroad was indeed much worse than Huaxia's. So, their reaction was expected. After eating their fill, Yang Cheng brought them to an apartment that Xiang Wei had prepared. It was located in the Red Thorn Society's real estate. There was a secret base of the Red Thorn Society there. Many elite members of the Red Thorn Society lived there. They arrived at a well-renovated apartment that looked like a 5-star hotel. Xiang Wei was already waiting inside with a few of her trusted subordinates. When she saw Yang Cheng leading more than 10 foreigners in, Xiang Wei immediately felt that this group of people was not simple. So, she stood up with her subordinates to greet Molin and the others respectfully. When Molin and the others saw Xiang Wei, their eyes lit up. They immediately asked, Your Majesty Pluto, is this the rumored Queen Persephone? Yang Cheng frowned. Who told you that I'm married? Molin chuckled. Miss Jane came to our headquarters to meet the leader a while ago. She said that Your Majesty Pluto has chosen the Queen. But Your Majesty Pluto is really not generous. You should let everyone see the Queen's beauty. After all, she is everyone's queen. This is Xiang Wei. She is also my woman, but not the Queen. Yang Cheng said helplessly. He secretly thought that Jane was too unkind. If she told a blabbermouth like Sauron, all his other friends would probably find out. He would probably be in trouble in the future. Molin and his team members nodded in understanding. However, they still expressed their strong interest and sincere respect. They walked up to Xiang Wei and greeted her in broken Huaxia language. Xiang Wei asked Yang Cheng, You asked me to do this and that in the middle of the night. So you're here to welcome friends from afar. Aren't you going to introduce us? This is Molin, and these are his team members. Actually, this is my first time meeting them. They were sent by a friend of mine to help us deal with some problems. They're also my friends. Yang Cheng did not know the names of these team members. The female team member, named Fanny, smiled. Miss Xiang Wei, you're very beautiful. It's rare to see an Eastern woman as beautiful as you. Don't embarrass yourself, Fanny. You've spent 80% of your life in Northern Europe. How many Eastern women have you seen? Another team member laughed. Fanny's face turned red. She kicked the man's butt and said, I'll kick you with my heels next time. Since Xiang Wei did not know much about foreign languages, Yang Cheng had to translate for her team members. After listening to them, she thanked them. After that, she was troubled about how she should speak. Yang Cheng smiled and said to Molin and the others, My baby Xiang Wei doesn't know much about foreign languages. From today onwards, you'll have to rely on Xiang Wei to take care of you. So, I advise you to practice Huaxiao language as hard as you can from now on. Molin used his choppy accent to say in Huaxiao language, Miss Qiangwei, I'm really sorry. Although learning Huaxiao language is too difficult, we'll try our best. This is what His Majesty Pluto asked us to do. Qiangwei couldn't help but smile when she heard this strange accent. Just speak slowly. You'll be living in this apartment from now on. All the floors are yours. If you need anything, you can tell me directly. I'll be responsible for taking care of you, because you're my lover's friends. Then can we eat at the food stall every day? Molin asked curiously. Food stall? Qiangwei was clearly stunned. Yang Qing coughed a few times and awkwardly explained what had happened before. Qiangwei was laughing so hard that she was rocking back and forth. She rolled her eyes at Yang Cheng coquettishly. Only this guy could bring foreigners from afar to eat at the food stall the moment they arrived. Yet, these foreigners were still thinking about it. I'll let you eat something even more delicious, Qiangwei said, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. The members of Sea Eagles immediately looked at Qiangwei. I think the Virgin Mary should look like you, Miss Qiangwei. Chapter 252. Arranging food, accommodation, and work for the 12 members of Sea Eagles from different cultures was definitely not something that could be done easily. Although the members of Sea Eagles were very adaptable, as the host, Qiangwei felt that it was necessary to make them feel as comfortable as possible. Therefore, after Molin and the other 12 people had their luggage packed and found their rooms, they began to discuss the specific requirements with Qiangwei in detail. Yang Cheng saw that Qiangwei was chatting happily with the team members. Although she often needed to translate, the effect was surprisingly good. Soon, Qiangwei became very familiar with the team members. Just as the conversation was about to end, the members of Red Thorn Society suddenly ran up to the apartment building to report that a truck claiming to be delivering mineral water was parked downstairs, and they were asking for people to move it. Who would believe that it was delivering mineral water in the middle of the night? Molin and the others looked at each other and nodded in confirmation. Molin said, Your Majesty Pluto, it seems that our equipment has been delivered. Yang Cheng smiled in satisfaction and said to Qiangwei, My dear, help them arrange an absolutely quiet and secluded basement or workshop. It should be a little more spacious. Just put the equipment there. Equipment? What equipment? Qiangwei was confused. The mineral water in the truck. I asked someone to deliver it from abroad through a special channel. With them, the members of Sea Eagles can display their true strength, said Yang Cheng. It can't be advanced firearms, right? Qiangwei's eyes lit up as if the violent elements in her body were ignited. Molin and the others quickly waved their hands. Miss Qiangwei, we don't plan to use firearms in Huaxia this time. We're just following His Majesty Pluto's request to do some surveillance and detection work. I see. Qiangwei was a little disappointed. Yang Cheng smiled bitterly. This is very important, isn't it? Fortunately, you told me in time last time. Otherwise, some troublesome people wouldn't have killed my family. I asked the Sea Eagles to come here to prevent that from happening. With their professional skills, they will be able to control the overall situation. At the very least, no one will be able to take advantage of the situation, and we will be able to detect any movements in Zhonghai. Qiangwei curled her lips sourly and said, So it's for the Empress. You've gathered a large group of people, but I'm the one helping to receive them. Yang Cheng blushed with shame. Baby, these people will be under your command in the future. They will also be responsible for your safety and help you train the elites so that your subordinates will have the strength of the top special forces. How about it? Qiangwei pouted and rolled her eyes at him. Do you mean it? Of course. Yang Qing nodded. Qiangwei smiled from ear to ear. If there weren't so many people present, she would have hugged Yang Qing's neck and kissed him. After settling all the arrangements, Yang Cheng and Qiangwei bade farewell to Molin and the others. Starting tomorrow, Molin and the others would officially start working. With such a small team in Zhonghai, Yang Cheng could feel much more at ease. When they arrived at the apartment building, Qiangwei stared at Yang Cheng with her watery eyes. Are you going back to sleep tonight? Go back to where? Yang Cheng asked with an evil smile. What do you think? No, it's getting late. Yang Cheng looked at the half moon in the sky. Let's go to your place and lie down for a while. Yeah, I think so too. Xiang Wei smiled. You're too tired to go back so late at night. Half an hour later, Yang Cheng and Xiang Wei returned to the large bedroom at the back of Rose Bar. It had been a long time since he had made out with Xiang Wei. On the way back, Yang Cheng's inner fire was burning. When he smelled the rich fragrance in the air, he couldn't help but hug Xiang Wei. His hands caressed and kneaded Xiang Wei's back and perky, but as he kissed her passionately, Xiang Wei swallowed a few times and struggled out of Yang Cheng's embrace. Her face was flushed. Shower first. You have to shower too. Why do you care so much in the middle of winter? Yang Cheng felt that he could skip some steps. No, I have to wash myself clean. Women always like to be clean. Yang Cheng didn't say anything else and rushed into the bathroom. After a simple shower, he put on a white bathrobe that was prepared for him and jumped onto the bed, waiting for Xiang Wei to shower. Xiang Wei didn't waste too much time. She dried her hair and walked out of the steaming shower. She had a white towel wrapped around her body. Her towering breasts revealed two hemispherical shapes. The gap in the middle was like a tempting abyss. Yang Chun swallowed his saliva and looked at Rose's pair of snow-white arms as she coquettishly bent her back to wipe her jet-black hair. Her slim and graceful figure made his little brother immediately salute. Xiang Wei pretended that she didn't see anything. She slowly climbed on the bed and softly laid on Yang Cheng's chest. Her body exuded the fragrance from the shower and her own body fragrance. The sweet scent stimulated Yang Cheng's brain and ignited an uncontrollable fire in him. Can we start now? Yang Cheng reached out and stroked Xiang Wei's white and tender face. The texture made Yang Cheng unable to let go. Xiang Wei pretended not to understand. What start? She said with an innocent expression. Yang Cheng smiled strangely. Of course, it's to start doing what you like to do. Xiang Wei snorted charmingly. She turned over, and the soft and delicate breasts clung to Yang Cheng's lower abdomen. Her palm stroked Yang Cheng's thigh, and a finger drew circles on the thigh. What I want to do? Yang Cheng smiled evilly. Want to do bad guy? Xiang Wei scolded with a smile. She raised her head and drew a wet mark on Yang Cheng's chest with the tip of her pink tongue. Yang Cheng's whole body quivered. He turned over and pressed Xiang Wei under his body. The two wantonly ignited the ambiguity of the entire bedroom. The longing and accumulated desire that they hadn't seen each other for a long time were released together. After a long time, the two of them stopped moving. Xiang Wei's whole body was aching as she laid on Yang Cheng's chest. In the final sprint, although Yang Cheng was below her, Xiang Wei was like a doll that was pushed up to the sky. After reaching the peak unwillingly, she finally laid down and was exhausted. I'm too tired. Let me rest for a while, Xiang Wei said as she panted. Yang Cheng hugged her tightly in his arms. One of his hands was reluctant to part with her pink flesh. He said in high spirits, in the future, I could go to work more leisurely. At that time, I will accompany you more often. Xiang Wei asked in doubt why. Because I got promoted. Yang Cheng smiled and told her about the new position that Lin Ruoshi gave him during the day. Xiang Wei's eyes revealed a bit of thinking. After a long time, she said, Hubby, since you're the director of Yulei Entertainment, if we want to cooperate with other companies, can you make the decision? That's right. But I plan to delegate power to the two guys below me. Sitting in the office for meetings and correcting documents is more uncomfortable than letting me blow up the Pentagon. Yang Cheng said gloomily. Xiang Wei suddenly said with a smile, Hubby, how about cooperating with me on a project? Cooperate with you? What do you mean? Yang Cheng was puzzled. Didn't I say it before? Our Red Thorn Society is not like the previous West Union Society and Dongxing Society, which rely on smuggling, drug trafficking, arms, and human trafficking to earn a lot of money. We don't do that. We only do some traditional underworld business. In fact, a small part of our funding comes from legal businesses. It's just that we haven't been able to expand, so we are a little short of money. But I can't find a good legal business partner. So if I use the resources and cash on hand to invest in this new company of Yulei and cooperate with some projects, I might be able to get a good return. Anyway, the director is you, Hubby, so I don't have to worry about the conflict of interests. Xiang Wei said. Yang Cheng was stunned. He didn't expect that Xiang Wei could still think of a way to benefit herself at this time. It could be seen that being the boss of an underworld gang and being the principal of a world-famous school actually had one thing in common: finding ways to make money to support their families. What do you want to invest in? Yang Cheng didn't care. Xiang Wei's approach was actually to invest in Yulei Entertainment. This would only be good for Yulei Entertainment. From a long-term perspective, with a financing partner, Xiang Wei would be a great help to Yang Cheng. Well, the recording industry is not doing well now, but we can do some commercial singing talent shows. With Yulei's golden name, we can attract a large number of advertisers and enterprises to join us, or invest in movies and TV series. This will have to wait until the company is established and see the actual human resources. Xiang Wei said seriously. Yang Cheng lovingly scratched Xiang Wei's nose. What you said is really clear and logical. It seems that my baby Xiang Wei will also be a female entrepreneur in the future. Humph. Xiang Wei wrinkled her nose in dissatisfaction and said coquettishly, I'm not talking anymore. I want to fight with you for another 100 rounds. Yang Cheng pitifully patted Xiang Wei's butt, which was full of elasticity, and advised, forget it. You've already tried so many times. You can't defeat me by yourself. Xiang Wei climbed up from Yang Cheng's body and pressed her but against Yang Cheng's crotch. After moving her pink and tender, but to give Yang Cheng pleasure, Yang Cheng immediately responded. Hubby, do you know what the strongest creature in the world is? Xiang Wei asked with a charming smile. What? It's women. Because women bleed every month, but we still live well and strong. Xiang Wei said proudly. So I won't easily surrender. Yang Cheng laughed and said, Baby Xiang Wei, you have to know that your man is not an ordinary man. Other people have one man guarding the pass against 10,000 enemies, but I have one man sleeping on the bed against 10,000 women. It's true that you have the thickest skin. Xiang Wei smiled and straightened her back like a queen. She looked down disdainfully and began a new round of tenacious resistance.